Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Around the Indoor Football World, where we cover all the major indoor football leagues such as the IFL, the NAL, the AF1, the TAL, the AAL, and we even sometimes talk some AIF, as well as some of the other smaller leagues that are kicking around. There's a ton of them, so we try to keep you updated on everything. Without further ado, we're going to hit the intro video, and then we'll get right into today's episode. We got two wonderful guests that we're very excited about. One of them might be a little bit of a surprise for anybody who's been watching the show recently, but stay tuned, and I'm sure you guys will be very entertained by today's show. All right, so before we get started, how's everybody doing today? Let's start with Krish on this one.
I'm doing well, just excited for tonight, and it's gonna be a good night of indoor football. So excited for that.
Absolutely, lots of games tonight. It's gonna be very action-packed tonight for sure. TJ, how you doing this morning?
Hey man, I'm doing good. It's just like Krish, excited about the games tonight. It's going to be a big weekend in arena and indoor. So
Absolutely. Got a ton of comments rolling in already. If you guys are watching right now, tell us how you guys are doing this morning. How's your morning starting off? And thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate that as always. It's been really, really awesome to watch this show grow episode by episode and year after year. I was literally just kind of reorganizing our YouTube playlist last night, and it came to my realization that we have over 100 episodes of this show, which is just nuts to me. But when I look back and I think about it, it's really come so far. It's unbelievable. So really appreciate everybody who constantly watches every week, all you guys in the chat. Very appreciative of everything you guys do and all the support you give us. So hope you guys keep showing up every Saturday, because we have a lot of fun doing this show. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We've got a ton of topics today, but the main topic, the first topic that we're going to discuss, is the AAL draft order was announced just a few days ago. And let me see if I can pull up that graphic real quick. Krish, you had a couple thoughts in particular about Columbus getting the first pick. What were your thoughts on that specifically? And what do you think about the draft order as a whole?
Yeah, I've said it today, and I'll say it again. I think Columbus is by far the best team in the league. Defensive line and offensive line, they have guys who, they're going to destroy this level, to be honest. I respect AJ, Coach AJ down there in New Jersey, and then what he's building, right? But his guys shouldn't even be on the same field as those Columbus players, in my opinion. So it's going to be blowouts on blowouts on blowouts. And so Columbus is just going to get number one pick. They'll get the best player. They have the best coach in the league, too. Damian Daniels is one hell of a football coach, man. Like, if he was coaching in the NAL, they would be a playoff team. It could be a championship contender in the NAL today. In my mind, they're a playoff team, at least. So I just think they're going to get a really good player at the number one pick. They might draft the quarterback. They might go on the DB. I think they'll draft the DB. I think they'll go DB for some reason. I have a weird feeling they're going to draft the DB with the first pick. But maybe it's your DB that you're excited about. So.
No, I was actually just kind of smiling because it's almost like you've been reading my draft previews or something, because I actually have them pegged for taking a defensive back in their first round pick as well. So, just maybe something about Damian Daniels as the coach there. But
why wouldn't you want to draft the DB? You got Gerald Green in the defensive back room. He can teach a younger player so much.
Yeah.
It would be a good opportunity.
That's a good point. For sure. Honestly, a lot worse places for a rookie to end up than that secondary, and learning from some of the guys that they've got there, and then also the coaching staff that they've got there as well. Pretty solid staff overall, I'd say. TJ, what were your thoughts about the overall AAL draft order? And here's the full order for anybody who has not seen it yet.
Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it's snake style. That way, nobody feels slighted by the draft order because you're constantly going back and forth. You can't really complain, about Columbus getting the one, because then after that, they have to go literally an entire full 2 rounds before they get another pick last in the second round then. So I like the style. I like the ability for guys to move up and to kind of combat Krish's comment there. Yeah, on paper, Columbus has the best team. They got lucky to get the first overall pick. But at the end of the day, at the end of seasons, how often does the best team on paper fall short just because when it comes down to actually playing the games, you know, things happen that, you can't calculate on the computer screen or a piece of paper. That's why you play the game. So I think it's going to be a great season. I think it's going to be a pretty competitive season overall across the 4 teams. And I think it's going to be an awesome draft as well. I love guys getting the opportunity to move up not only to a higher league, but also within the same system. I think it's really going to, the continuity of it overall is really going to show in the product on the field, and also, in my opinion, the success of the league.
I think there's an interesting dynamic because of the way the AAL and AAL2 is set up. There could be scenarios where a guy's playing on one team one week, and then the next week he's on the AAL team and he's playing against the team he was just playing with for the AAL2. So I think that's an interesting dynamic. And I wanted to address something in particular. I got into probably something a little extra spirited of a debate than I probably should have let this get into. But when I posted the draft order and I started sharing it out and stuff like that the past couple of days, I had one person in particular reach out and say, a 4-team league, why would they do this? Why would they do this? Why would they even bother to play with a 4-team league? Well, let's be real honest. I mean, if you've paid any sort of attention to this show or any of our AAL content, they had other teams they could have added. They chose not to because they wanted to be a stable league where they knew every team would go start to finish. So, I mean, for anybody wondering why they did this, I mean, look at the TAL, for example. They started with 4. Now they're all the way up to 8, and it's only been, what, 3 years? This is their 3rd season. So, I mean, if that's the model for stability, we build and we expand 2, 3, 4 teams a year and we go slowly, and then that's okay with me. I'd rather have a stable league that's not having a ton of turnover, teams aren't folding midseason, players aren't getting stranded, coaches aren't getting let go midseason, stuff like that, then have a league where it's going to come and go in a blink of an eye because the teams are not stable. So, I mean, I think that you look at the foundation of this league, you realize it's a startup, and that you couldn't ask for a better foundation. You got Columbus that's been around for 20 years. You've got Wheeling that won a championship their first year. They've been around 3 seasons now. Jersey's won a championship in the past. Mississippi won a championship their first year. So, I mean, you look across this league and really, in my opinion, it could be so unbelievably worse. It's not even funny. So let's show respect where it's due, and let this kind of play out some before we start immediately bashing on the league for things that we may not, or some people may not have all the information on.
And I want to respond to TJ too. I agree with your point, right? Like, the best team on paper always doesn't win the championship. But I mean, I look at Jersey, for example, right? The quarterback, Mateo, he's young, he's 22. 75% of the teams in the AL2 play zone coverage. At least 75%, in my opinion, from what I've seen and watched. So it's different now. It's a higher level of football at this point. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for him, and that's going to take time. So,
sorry about that. So I wanted to run through some of these comments real quick, and then we will get back to it. Dawan Fawn checking in right away. Really appreciate you, man. You've all of a sudden become one of our more common guests, so really appreciate all the comments and you checking in. Good morning, me, he says. On today's show, I'll be covering being a fan of arena and indoor football. Love it. So let's talk most comfortable seats. Which arena holds that title? That's an interesting question. We might have to put a pin in that one. I don't know that anybody outside of maybe a couple people out there have that information really. So it would be fun to kind of try and source that. Easy the Great Roman Coliseum in Rome, Italy. Okay, best seats apparently. Good morning. Training camp for AAL starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. or at least for Columbus anyway. This is the Columbus Lions owner Roger Beck checking in. Really appreciate you watching, Roger. Much better to be sitting than participating. Morning, gents. Adrian Figueroa checking in. Lions #1 pick. Yep, absolutely. Lions do a great with social media marketing, always doing stuff. Love it. Please keep sharing. I completely agree on that. That is one of the things that Columbus has done really well this offseason. They've been very present on social media, and that's always a good thing. Dallin Vaughn says he's doing good this morning. Glad to have you and glad you're doing well, my friend. If you haven't done so already, make sure you guys are hitting the like button as well. That helps us, push this out to new viewers who have not seen the show before. Roger says we will play anyone, and I have zero doubt that he means that quite literally. So if there are any teams out there thinking that they may be better than the Lions, give Roger a call. I have a feeling he will set that game up in a heartbeat. So good morning, Nicole says. Good morning, Nicole. Thank you for checking in. We appreciate it. Triple McGee, Kia Arena is on there. Okay. It's a very beautiful arena. That's never been a question, I don't think. You guys see that the Columbus Lions got new turf. Very nice. Very nice. Not surprising at all for Roger. I'm not going to lie. Any arena seat with a cup holder. Hey, now, that's an underrated fact. I'm just saying. But a couple other things about the AAL that we wanted to talk about. Thankfully, due to our connection with the AAL, I was able to obtain the team rosters as they stand so far and was given the green light to go ahead and share some of this information. So I'm not sure if you guys got too much time to look at it. Krish, did you get a chance to look at it?
No, I'm interested to see what the quarterbacks are looking like, for the different teams. I know Wheeling. Does Wheeling even have a quarterback on the roster?
I counted their players. I don't recall if there was a quarterback on that list. I know Columbus has 3 quarterbacks. They actually had 4, but William Walters was one of them. And then we all know that he ended up moving on to Louisiana, and I don't know if he's been back yet. So that is
one. I know he got cut from Louisiana. I wonder.
Yeah. So there's obviously an opportunity for him to be there. So we shall see. But this comes directly from the league, as I mentioned before. This is their most up-to-date waiver list. You will see some guys released on here, as well as a chunk of guys listed as active. So here's kind of the first little bit of it here. These are the earliest transactions for any team, way back in January here. But you look at Columbus, and they were ready to roll way back in February. So they had 3 different quarterbacks on roster. Blake Bartz, Aiden Camarota, and then they also have Justin Arth. And then the aforementioned William Walters, which you'll see later down here, he was released to go to Louisiana, as we mentioned. Jersey here, their whole roster is coming together. Jacquier Royster, really impressive young running back who a lot of speed to his game. Excited to see him at the AAL level. He was very productive last year in the AAL too. Mateo Rodriguez.
One that stands out to me up there is Keno Nehu, the kicker from he's at Quad City, really consistent kicker for them. He was huge in the playoff run, so that's a huge signing. And Tyler Clark, man, that's someone who played in the league. That's a big move. So
University of Georgia,
legend,
down there playing in Georgia. Look at that, Georgia State University with Jakias Cradle. So I always like to see those kind of.
And think about that, Tyler Clark and DeAndre Brown on the same line, man.
They've got a pretty stacked roster in Columbus. Not that we should be surprised.
Jeremiah Kane from Tennessee State, who's 4-year starter. Yeah, that's crazy.
Couple more moves here for Jersey. Brandon Perot, defensive lineman. Naeem Archer, Kevin Perez, Charles Faulkner III. And then here you got Mississippi's roster as well, which this I don't believe is 100% accurate currently. Because we know PJ Thomas has signed with Mississippi as well, and that is not on this list here. So you also have Terry Hawkins Jr., another quarterback there, and then Jason Hall, another fullback linebacker that I'm excited about. Great player.
Coach Thomas lost a player to Mississippi, but that's crazy.
What's that?
Coach Thomas losing a player to Mississippi. Him not going to Southwest Kansas and going to Mississippi instead.
Yeah. People make decisions for what they think's best in their life, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt at times, I think. Nick Price back with Jersey, love to see that. Manny Stewart, same thing. Joey Ramirez, Hezekiah Frazier, Jaleel Tyler, all of these guys are longtime Jersey Bearcats players, so not entirely surprised to see anyone.
That's crazy. He's played for like 10 years. He's a really good. Yeah,
I that piqued my curiosity when I saw that as well. And then here's the bulk of Wheeling's roster. A lot of them say they were just signed, although a lot of these guys have been signed. They just didn't get submitted because the coaching staff was just hired. So they have a full roster here. Our boy Alex Coleman, Andre Thomas Cobb, which I believe was just with Pueblo, if I'm not mistaken.
No, how that's confusing. Yeah, no, he's still playing with Pueblo. He hasn't been released.
Is he?
Yeah.
He wasn't the corresponding move for Deontay Rarick?
No, Deontay Rarick listed as DB.
Okay.
I'll go check that, but
yeah, you may be right. You may be right, and this could be a situation where Andre Thomas Cobb was just added a couple days ago, and they did not realize that he was playing with Pueblo. But another player on here, Anthony Ellison, wide receiver, he was with Wyoming. Charles Westbrook, which I believe has been here in the past. Devontae Tisley, Dante Mason. Basically running down the list, a pretty solid overall roster here for Wheeling, in my opinion. Sean McGee's back. TJ, you've been fairly quiet. Anybody on here that we are surprised by? Anybody we are excited by? And then here in a moment, we will get to our first guest of the morning, Mr. Jaden Rowe, who's joining us. Had a great game a couple weeks ago and quite a good game the following week as well. So we'll be talking to him here shortly. Stay tuned if you're an IFL fan. But go ahead, TJ.
I'm not sure. I forget if he was technically on the list or not now, but just just the fact of knowing that PJ Thomas is going back to Mississippi, that's huge for the Wolfpack. Or going to Mississippi, I should say, back to the AL2, but yeah, that's going to be huge for them. He had a really great season going last year before his injury. So, and obviously getting a chance in Omaha and things like that. I think he'll be coming back with a vengeance this year to prove that he deserves another shot for next year as well.
Fair point. Any other thoughts on this before we move on, Krish?
Yeah, I just think Columbus is so far ahead of everyone. I said it before, but it's not even close, in my opinion. Not close at all. But I appreciate Wheeling for trying to put together a roster. I'm not really impressed with them on defense. Their defense looks really weak. Richie Murphy, not my boy. Let's get that clear. I see this comment right here. Not my boy. He's a good guy though, but I hope he does well in Wheeling, and I think he's good for the organization from a social media perspective. For sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have
you know what? This is crazy. All right, Jordan McCray was all USFL, so don't even put him in the same conversation. That's so.
He's just saying he's played as long as them. He's not.
Nah, bro,
it's not derogatory. Come on now. But anyway, we're gonna hit a quick commercial break. We'll come back in the IFL section, and like I mentioned before, we will be joined by defensive back Jaden Rowe, who was named Defensive Player of the Week for the IFL in Week 1, and then we will discuss a couple topics with him. There's obviously a lot to unpack with the IFL, given all the announcements over the past couple of weeks. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about with Mr. Rowe. And then if you guys are fans of the other leagues, AF1, NAL, we will still be getting to those as well. And then we have some other information to cover throughout the show as well. So stick with us. There's still lots to talk about. And we'll be right back with our first guest of the day, defensive back Jaden Rowe with Fisher's Freight.
You hear that? That's football coming back to Louisiana. The Louisiana Rouxgaroux are storming the arena with speed, power, and non-stop action, hard hits, fast scores, and an electric night out for the whole family. It all starts February 28th. 7 home games, 1 house, the Brookshire Grocery Arena. Tickets range from $24 to $34. Football isn't over. It's just moved inside. Scan the QR code to secure your tickets or visit LouisianaRouxgaroux.com.
All right, we are back with defensive back Jaden Rowe from the Fishers Freight. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Rowe?
How's it going, man? I can't complain. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours. We really appreciate you coming on this morning, especially so bright and early. You're in the Central Time Zone, correct?
I think we're the Eastern Time Zone of Indiana. Like, we're on the cusp right there. It's kind of weird.
Gotcha. So it's 8:30 now for you, not 7:30?
Yep.
Okay, cool. That makes me feel a little bit better about you having to join us so early. So really appreciate that time, and congratulations on your Defensive Player of the Week award last week. You had a heck of a game. Correct me if I'm wrong. You had 2 picks and both went for touchdowns, if I remember correctly.
No, none of them went for a touchdown. They definitely should have, right? I gotta read those blocks a little bit better, but yeah, I had 2. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well deserved. You had a great game, obviously. I actually, full disclosure for anybody watching, I reached out after your first interception because it was fairly early in the game, and I was like, something tells me this is going to be a good game for him. So went ahead and reached out, and you got back to me immediately, actually, after the game. So I really appreciate you getting back to me so quick. But, I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit. I mean, we always wanted to ask players, like, how did you become aware of indoor football in the beginning, and what brought you to the game?
Okay, so if I'm being honest, like a lot of people, I feel like they sleep on indoor football. You know what I mean? Like, even coming out of college, I really didn't know. It was fairly new to me. And my agent kind of teetered with the idea of coming and playing indoor football. And everybody, everybody thinks they're gonna go to the NFL out of college. You talk to a couple teams. I talked to a couple NFL teams, so I thought for sure like I was going right. And things didn't really come to fruition. I waited, trained for about a year, ended up getting with a new agent that mentioned the IFL and got me an opportunity here with Fishers, and I haven't looked back since. So I'm definitely grateful. And I was very shocked by indoor football, how rich it is, how great the fans are. Like, they're super bought in. Everybody's been really accepting, and they get crazy out there in those stadiums. So it's fun. It's been a blessing for sure.
That's awesome. And obviously, Fisher's Freight, fairly new team, but very well supported out there in Indiana. So we love to see that. TJ, do you have any questions for Mr. Rowe?
Yeah, man, thanks for joining us this morning. You kind of just touched on it a little bit, but for fans out there, what are some of the biggest differences for a player going from the outdoor game to the indoor game that you had to adjust to?
So I think for me, the biggest thing was the speed of the game as far as playing defensive back, getting that high motion down. Like me, I thrive myself on being a man coverage guy and being able to get with the best player and lock him up completely, right? So for me, I really had to get obsessive as far as my technique goes and making that adjustment. And then that and just the speed of the game, making your checks, seeing the formation, seeing the play unfold. It's people sleep on it. It's tough. It's tough for sure. But that's probably been the biggest adjustment. And then getting used to knowing that wall is there. You know what I mean? Like we like to say the wall is undefeated. So just know like it's there, whether you're going to jump for a ball, whether you're gonna hit somebody, you're gonna make a cut. That wall is undefeated. So just know that's probably been another major adjustment as well.
You gotta account for that. You can't avoid it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it
Krish,
hurts.
do you have any questions for Mr. Rowe?
Yeah, Jaden, one of my questions for you is who's the best receiver that you've gone against in the IFL so far, you would say?
I mean, I have to give our guys that we practice against every day some credit. Not to be biased, but I think we have probably the best receiver core in the IFL. Just a lot of vets. We got CJ Wyndham, we got JT Stokes, we got Isaiah Coulter. You know what I mean? We got Jerry McGaw. Like, that's tough. Practice is tough every day. But if I had to pick number one, that I've went against, probably Quentin Williams in Quad City. He's fun to play against. Like we get the best of each other for sure. He's fun.
Hey, a lot of respect to Quentin Williams. He was not a Triple Crown winner by accident. That's for sure. He's a heck of a player.
100%.
Like you said, though, I'm sure it doesn't hurt your ability to be prepared to play against players like that when you're playing against CJ Wyndham, JJ Stokes, and stuff like that. Or sorry, man, what is his first name? JJ,
JT.
the NFL wide receiver from back in the 90s.
Oh,
But anyway, you play against a ton of great players there in Fishers. But talk to us a little bit about the setup. I mean, obviously, Fishers also has the fuel there, so they seem to have the infrastructure in place for the team long before they were ever, an actual team. So, talk to us about the housing, how they take care of you guys and stuff off the field.
I mean, as far as I know, like it's top notch in this league, in the indoor football league. I mean, like again, I'm gonna be biased. Like we have no reason not to be successful here. You know what I mean? Like they definitely put every tool at our disposal, whether that be recovery, whether that is housing, whether that is groceries, and just making us feel at home, making us feel like Fishers citizens. You know what I mean? Like they welcomed us with open arms. And I'm not a pro as far as knowing what indoor football production is supposed to be like, but I feel like we're number one in the league as far as that goes as well. Like the atmosphere is nothing like I've seen in the league yet. I mean, maybe a couple places, like maybe Jacksonville, they get pretty loud, but like our fans are great. They're obsessive. They love it. We love them. I mean, I could talk all day about Fishers. You know what I mean? I love it here. All of our goals are to go up and play in upper leagues, but I have no complaints thus far. No complaints.
That's fair. TJ, do you have anything else?
Oh yeah, compared to last year, Fishers had an overall pretty solid year, but with in terms of fan following and everything else, just collectively a really great year. How are you guys planning on building on that and being even more successful on the field this year and making a run at the playoffs?
So we definitely the stakes are definitely higher this year. I want to say. I mean, coming into camp, you could feel it from the jump. Like, yeah, it's a newer group that we have, but we clicked. Like first day one, we clicked. We gelled together. All we do is hang out and talk trash all day to each other. Like we watch a lot of film together. Like this team is different. It's special. I definitely think we have something brewing as far as the championship run goes. We just got to focus on being 1-0 each week. We know how talented we are, and I mean the second game that was kind of a problem. We knew how talented we are, but we know that doesn't come without work. You know what I mean? As talented as you can be, this winning thing, especially in professional football, it's about work. So we know what we're capable of. We have the chemistry. We love each other already. So I'm excited to see us go 1-0 every week. You know.
Chris, do you have any?
Yeah, final question for you. Talk about the coaching staff this year. I mean, you added some big names: Coach Stout, Coach Bonner, Coach Thomas. What would you say about the coaching staff this year compared to last year?
I would say just there are a lot more, and that's not to knock the last coaches. Like they're my first coaching staff in the IFL, so you know, what I mean, they're gonna have a special place in my heart. But as far as this new staff goes, like there's a lot more continuity in what they're trying to do. Like they're on the same page. There's so much experience in the room that they're not rattled. Like last game we went down by, I think we went down by 21 and nobody was really rattled. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, you know what, buckle down. It's time to go to work. We know we can come back to this game. We know we can get back in it. We know we can win this game. So let's just go to work, you know. And then as far as Coach Stout goes specifically, like on the special teams perspective, like he's it's crazy how his knowledge base, like we definitely have an edge when it comes to that special teams and just his freaking record book of knowledge, you know what I mean? Like Coach Stout definitely brings like continuity to the table, structure, what it is to be a professional football player to the table. He brings that specifically for sure that we didn't necessarily have. So I'm excited to work with Coach Stout even more.
Talk to us a little bit about the changes from coaching staff to coaching staff. I mean, obviously, you mentioned you had your first staff, which was almost essentially an entirely different staff outside of Dixie Wooten, the head coach. And then you come into 2026, and your staff, like I said, is basically completely different. Talk to me about adjusting from that one staff to the next. I mean, did you feel a culture shift at all, or did it feel the same? Talk to us about that.
Okay, so that wasn't too much of a hard adjustment, just because for me, like, my routine is the same, right? As a pro, like, I'm gonna get my extra work in, I'm gonna watch my extra film, I'm gonna do my extra studying, like whatever it takes to be successful in my mind, right? So that wasn't really that hard of an adjustment. Like, they're super great guys, and the system didn't change much. You know what I mean? It would be tough if our system completely changed and everything was different, but the system didn't really change. So between having our nucleus from last year that we kind of built with the guys returning that we did have, it was kind of seamless. Surprisingly, it was seamless, and it's been fun thus far.
That's very true. A lot of players returned from last season. I mean, you guys had a great core group last year, and honestly, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm willing to bet the feeling in the locker room was that you guys didn't quite perform up to your talent level last year.
Hmm.
So it definitely feels like you're off to a little bit better start so far this season. Green Bay is a really good team. Quad City also a very good team. So I mean, I think you guys are in a good place so far this season. But I also wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the IFL announcements. So as a player, I mean, you guys got to sit back and kind of see that first you guys announced Yahoo Sports, and then obviously the uncertainty with FanDuel, but then they kind of recover really well. They get the overnight deal. So how do you feel about the broadcast package in general for a player who is, obviously part of moving up is exposure. So how do you feel the league is doing in getting you in front of new eyes?
I think, to be honest, I think they're doing a really good job. It was honestly surprising seeing the deals that they got done like come to fruition, and then that first game, like, it was live with those Yahoo Sports people in there, and they're excited. They bring good energy as well, so that was awesome. And then it's just a blessing, you know. I was a small school kid. Like, I went to a FCS school where we played with an internet link. You know what I mean? So, like, to go from that to my dad's calling me like, "Hey, you're on Yahoo Sports, and hey, I think I could watch your game on Amazon Prime." Like, that's big and that's huge. And it's I had to temper it a little bit, but it's like, oh damn, like, you arrived a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, playing against 6,000, the stadium's pretty packed. You're playing on Yahoo in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Like, it's a blessing for me. Like, I wake up and I'm grateful. But as far as, like you said, getting those eyes, like, I think we're in the perfect spot to be when it comes to indoor football. Like, I think we might see it blow up considering the platform that we're getting, and I'm excited to be in the right place at the right time. You know what I mean? So just got to keep balling, and like you said, getting those eyes.
Absolutely. That is a great point. Right place, right time is very apt for the IFL currently, I believe. TJ, do you have any more questions for Mr. Rowe?
Nope, I'm all good. But thank you again for coming on, and best of luck, man.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. So we won't hold you up too much longer, Mr. Rowe, but talk to me a little bit about your mindset heading into week one. You mentioned you played Quinn Williams a couple times. You knew that you were coming into what would probably be a fairly difficult matchup overall. But you guys come out with the win as a unit. What was the mindset for you individually and as a team as a whole as you walked into that game?
To be honest, as far as the defensive side goes, it was let's stop Daquan Neal from running around. Like, let's try and get him to sit in that pocket and just tear us apart that way. If he does it, then he does it. You know what I mean? But like, that was a main focus on defense, was stopping him from getting out of that pocket and making plays. You know what I mean? Because he's one of the best in the league when it comes to that aspect. So between that and kind of containing Quinn Williams, he had a great first half, but I think containing him in that second half really changed that game. And so that was kind of our defensive mindset. That, and we want to stop the run every week. You know what I mean? Like, the IFL is great in that you gotta stop the run. It's not an air raid type of league. You have to stop the run up front, or it's gonna be a long day. So those were kind of our main focuses as far as defense goes. As far as the team goes, it was dominating all three facets. Like we made a lot of plays on special teams. We pinned them a lot as far as kickoff goes. Callum had a great day as far as the kicking game goes, and that goes a long way. People don't they kind of overlook it when it comes to the IFL, but special teams it's a major factor in this thing. So I think that and just showing the world who we were. Like we knew, okay, the game's at our crib for a reason. It's gonna be a packed house. Like let's show the world who we are, what we're capable of, and I think we did that. Did we have a little bit of a hiccup week 2? Of course, but I think we did show the world who we are right now and what we're capable of. So that was the main goal.
Agreed. On that front, how do you guys come out of the Green Bay game? You know, knowing you're now 1-1, you had a tough game. You ultimately ended up losing to Green Bay. How do you recover from that, or how do you move forward with a positive mindset after something like that?
I think just not getting too far ahead of ourselves. Like it's hard after a game like Quad City not to be on cloud nine. You know what I mean? As a collective team, yeah, some guys maybe are tempered. I kind of pride myself on being a tempered guy and just kind of not too up, not too down. You know what I mean? But it's tough to. That's a part of the game. You know, that's why you play, is to experience those ups and downs. You know what I mean? And I think we just gotta focus on going 1-0 and being the best team that we can be, not necessarily worrying about anybody else. Because what you can take from Green Bay in our aspect is like we were down 21. It looked bad. It looked ugly. That first half looked ugly. We did a lot of things out of character, busted a lot of assignments, blew a lot of coverages. But the fact that we could come back and get within 3 points and get back in that game like that, you know what I mean? Like that goes to show, okay, we might got something cooking, especially talent wise. It's about just doing all the right things as a team. You know what I mean? Doing the little things, focusing the small details. So I think that's what we're working on week by week. I think Coach Wooten, that's what he'll stress is those small details, and we're gonna be dangerous for sure.
Completely agree. And then we have one last question for you from the Project super fan, huge Tulsa Oilers fan, but we are glad you're in Fishers, Jaden. I'm curious to hear what game you're looking forward to the most after 2 weeks of IFL ball.
The game I'm looking to most, we're talking about today specifically, right? The game's on today and tomorrow, right?
I think he's looking at your season as a whole. Is there any game that you kind of circled on your calendar?
Okay, for sure. I'm gonna be biased. The Arizona Rattlers game at their house, at their crib, because I'm from California, so a lot of my folks will probably drive out to that game. So I don't know, we might be 40, 50 deep at the Arizona game. So that, and they have a pretty cool environment to play in. So I think they have a great team. I think they might be trying to make a championship push as well. I think that's gonna be a fun one.
Absolutely. Well, real quick before you get out of here for the day, man, I wanted to give you an opportunity to shout out anybody you want to shout out, say anything to the fans, anything. The floor is yours, my friend. Let's put it that way.
I want to shout out my agent, Gabe Martinez with Nino Pro Football. I mean, this opportunity, everything that's come with it, it's been a blessing, and I couldn't do it without him and his help. You know what I mean? I definitely want to thank my family. Shout out to them at home. You know what I'm saying? They're the reason I play. They're the reason I wake up and work as hard as I do every day. And shout out to the Fishers Freight fans, man. Like win, lose, or draw, like they've always been down with us, and they're always excited. They bring a lot of energy every game. So shout out to the fan base, man. Fishers Freight fans, man, they're the best in the league. So
awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Rowe. We really appreciate it. Would love to have you back on in the future. And best of luck the rest of the way, man. Hopefully we see you in the playoffs this year.
appreciate you guys, man. It's been a pleasure for sure.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, best of luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we can see a couple more 2-pick games from you.
Oh yeah, that's the plan. Yes, sir. All righty.
Thank you so much for your time, man.
Bye-bye.
Into the end zone, touchdown! Russell has to step up in the pocket, has some room in front of him, gets that 3-step drop, here comes the pressure, passes complete to Flowers, back to pass, pressure coming, has somebody in the end zone! Pressure's coming. Russell able to escape. Still on his feet and will be brought down at the... Looking, has plenty of time. Has Flores at the 15. He's at the 10. And Russell has it on the outside. Like I said, he ain't taking a slide. Russell steps up. Let's one go. Robinson makes the circus catch. Going to be a low snap. Here comes the pressure. And the pass is going to be complete. And making the catch on Grant Russell. Russell, back to pass. Looking. He has Robinson makes the catch. And will be brought down on the play by Isaiah Hall.
All right, we are back. Let me change up the setup here. My mistake. Krish, we could just interview you really quick. All right. And we are joined by Coach B to discuss. Oh, it looks like Coach B's got a Nighthawks shirt on him. Oh, I scratched that. It looks like our first guest is here this morning, so we will bounce back to the IFL here. Or sorry, second guest. We'll bounce back to the IFL after we speak with our second guest of the morning. And this one is the one that I mentioned might be a little bit surprising for the viewers at home. So very excited to have this man on. So without further ado, we are joined by
Krish, you still there?
Washington.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming on the show this morning.
TJ, it looks like I came on and immediately caused technical difficulties. So that's come in with an entrance, make an impact.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Hey, that's the best part about live stuff, man. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Absolutely.
Now they're all joining back. There we go. Oh, well, again, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. It's been a while since we've had an AF1 guest on. So we just want to I'll just want to give you the floor for a minute. And, what made you want to come on the show this morning?
Well, I'm always happy to talk arena football with anyone. I've been a fan of arena football and the broader indoor game for going on 20 years now. So the opportunity to co-own and run an arena football team, this is something that's been on my mind for a couple decades. So I'm always happy to come on, talk to fans, talk to crowds. I mean, the arena sport is phenomenal, and it's one that had its peak at some point and kind of waned in popularity, and I love to see the comeback, and I love to be part of that comeback. So I'm always happy to be available and talk arena football, especially the Washington Wolfpack, going in our third season, second season with the AF1, and we're excited about what we've built here, both in the short term and the long term, that I'd love to talk about.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Wolfpack, you guys made a lot of changes this offseason, going into this season. What do you think of the team this year as opposed to last year being more so of a playoff team?
Well, it's no secret. We've had our growing pains, and our growing pains have been I don't want to say intentional in the fact that nobody builds a team to not have a winning record, to not make the playoffs, but we had a very methodical approach to our business and how we could create a program that could sustain itself. Because as all of you know, the indoor game, arena game over the past 15 years, stability has been hard. And we knew when we started this team, we weren't looking for a 1-year splash. We weren't looking for a 2-year splash. We were looking at building an institution in Western Washington. And we put a lot of emphasis in fan experience, fan development, community development. And we've got to the point where now at year 3, we're ready for our breakthrough year. So we have invested incredible resources in players, incredible resources in amenities. This might be news to everyone here. We purchased a multi-million-dollar property in the city of Everett to develop into our team headquarters, create an indoor training facility. We are setting the standard. And I know if you've ever heard Coach Wells talk, he always talks about the standard. We are creating the standard of what it takes to be successful for a program in arena football. And we're going to be the crown jewel of the AF1. We've matched our resource investments with our player investments. We've got a phenomenal team that Coach Wells has put together. We're excited about April 12th, our first home game, to have that statement victory to kick off the season and to show that the Washington Wolfpack, while we have playing a little bit of the tortoise and the hare game, we're at the line, we're ready to move forward, and we're building that institution that's going to be here not just this year, next year, 10 years, 20 years down the road.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Coach Wells. I mean, he's a nice guy, right? Obviously, but he's 30-17 in 2 years. And what led to the decision to kind of retain him for a third season?
Coach, this is an interesting discussion because Coach Wells has never been on the chopping block. Coach Wells is a key figure to the long-term success of our organization. And I take as much blame for some of the what you see in the record book. We've never provided him with a recruitment budget. We have, I think it's well known, we have stuck to the league minimum when it comes to pay for the past 2 years. We've had housing limitations. We've limited our resources for the first 2 years. That doesn't mean we had bad athletes. That doesn't mean we certainly weren't trying our best. We were able to at times show what we were capable of. But we knew this was going to be a long process. And when I hired Coach Wells, when we had our first interview, I said, I need someone who has the composure to get us through a 1-9 season. Because we may have that with how we're building this program. And as we were building the program, our commitment to Coach Wells and our commitment to the program has been, when we're ready to pour gas on the fire, we're pouring gas on the fire, and we're going to go. So this is really the year where Coach Wells has had the sufficient resources to build the team that we need to not just be in some games, to not just win a couple games, but to compete as one of the best teams in the AF1. So Coach Wells is ready. He's fired up. He's building the team. I think if he could, he'd put him on the field today, and we'd start the season. But we've got to wait till April 12th. But we're going to be ready to kick off and show everyone what we've been capable of.
I've been seeing you guys around for the last 3 years, especially that first year. I was with the Rampage. You guys were out in Washington. We first started it off. Uh, Branding has always been big for you guys. I love how you brand your team, how you market your team. Uh, at some point, because it is football, do you worry about winning? Because with the records you had, I know building, it's a lot of teams that build, but winning, you got to win to win your fan base over. Is that a part that you worry about now? A lot of teams first year we know don't have recruiting budgets or nothing like that, so that's normal.
Yeah, and this is the year, Coach. We're going to see that. I believe I think I don't know that any teams are advertising their payroll, and we're certainly not. But I believe we're towards the middle high end when it comes to our payroll for 2026, where I believe we were at the bottom the last in year one and year two. So we know that there becomes a time where you got to start winning the games, and we're here. We're there. If we were only putting in the resources and brick and mortar and marketing and all of that, and we weren't equally putting in the resources onto the field to get some more wins in the column, I would call that a mistake. And I think that's what you might be alluding to with that question, that it becomes time to put it all on the field, and this is the year. We've got an amazing offensive line. We have Vincent Espinoza at quarterback. We've got some amazing receivers and a very solid defense. And Coach Millie is putting together a fantastic defense that we're going to put points on the board, and we're going to keep the other team from putting points on the board. It's going to be exciting. And for those fans who were there day one and who have stuck with us from the challenges, it's going to be really rewarding this season.
Absolutely. You talked a moment ago about the long-term growth of the team, how you kind of started off very modest. You worked within your means, well within your means, it sounds like. When you guys planned out the long-term vision for this team, how did you go about determining that was the best course of action? And how do you feel you've executed that plan so far?
Well, some of it is addition by subtraction. There's no shortage of football teams in both the arena and indoor world that have tried to make the splash up front and have folded by midseason. And you try to put together a game plan, and I swear every time I've had a conversation, it's right away. We're gonna put this team in, and people are gonna show up. And we're gonna have 4,500 people in the stands, and so we're building our budget as if we're gonna have 4,500 people in the stands. And there's no surprise that those teams aren't here anymore, and there are teams that really, we're going to build it. We're going to win a couple games off the front, and then we're going to fill the stadium. And they just haven't been focused on talking to the fans, on spending the time, talking to people, inviting them to the game, and building that first, building the fan base. This isn't the Kurt Warner days where everyone's familiar with arena football. So I would say, as we developed this plan, some of it was, I thought very instinctual. However, the industry has not followed that model by and large. But also just looking at where teams have not been successful, including in the Everett area. We're the third arena football team to launch in this market. And so we saw that the Everett Hawks spent 3 years here. The Everett Raptors spent 1 year here. So we've seen that flash in the pan here. We've seen it in other markets. And what I have always consistently seen is try to make that big splash up front, and then the crowds are just going to magically show up, and it just doesn't work that way. This is work. For anyone who might be listening and think, "Oh, arena football, that's fun and easy," I can spend a lot of time talking about my 6 a.m. to midnight days, working and building this, and Coach Wells, the same thing. Kelly Fahey, our majority owner, same thing. I mean, it is work, and you have to be prepared to do the work, and you have to work the plan. And there is no magic shortcut. That's why we saw teams. We've seen teams fold in this industry for decade or so, 15 years.
I love it.
That's definitely fair.
It. I love it. I love the way you said it and the way you did it for these last few years of slowly building the foundation. I think if more teams did that, they would last longer. A lot of people, like you said, think you just gonna automatically put a team somewhere and we're gonna average 6,000, 8,000 fans. That's not never gonna happen unless you in a city who just really needed it and the city wanted it. So I love what you're doing, building a brick and mortar foundation, an indoor facility, similar to what Billings had back in the day, and they were very successful. So I love what you're doing. Now your coaches got to make it correlate because you gave them all the tools to be successful. So winning is the next thing.
It is, and we believe he will be. Coach Wells has the plan. He's going to work the plan. I think at the end of the season, we're going to get together, and you're going to say that you were right for sticking with Coach Wells through this build up process. So I'm really excited. This has been the most excited I've been. We talk about kind of that build up. We've already sold more tickets for our home opener than we've ever sold for any of our games in the first 2 years. So we are seeing that residual benefit already. That's what kind of reinforces that we feel really good about the plan we've been working. So the stands are going to be full week 1. We're excited. We've got there'll be more information coming next week, but we have a local broadcasting deal. We're going to be over the air here in the Seattle market. We're just couldn't be more excited for this to be our statement year in arena football.
So we have a question in the chat that I'm told I have to ask, and it's the big question: when can we buy Washington Wolfpack mini helmets?
Okay, that is a great question, and there's my favorite thing to do is to talk about the helmets, and the quick story, if I can derail the conversation for a second, is I love our logo, our wolf, the color scheme, and all of that. I was excited to put that on a helmet. And Kelly Fahey, our majority owner, said, I really don't like logos that look out. I think we've got to have a forward-facing logo. And he said, I think I'm going to work with the graphic designer and see if we can come up with a forward-facing design that's a version of our logo that could be really exciting. And I said, Kelly, that sounds like a lot of wasted time for very little payoff at the end. And I am happy to admit when I am wrong about something. And I was dead wrong on that. We have the best helmet, I think, in all of sports and all of football. The challenge from that is, our logo that we have on our helmet, I think, was version 30. Of the work with the graphic designer and Kelly to get that. It is very difficult to reproduce in the type of quantity that would make mini helmets even remotely affordable. So that's always been the challenge. I believe when we looked at our logo design, it has 21 unique colors in our design, which does make printing materials, getting merch, like, it looks phenomenal, but there are challenges that are associated with that. I would say, to answer the question directly, mini helmets are something that we're continuing to explore, and trying to get that sticker cut of our helmet design that we could put over the helmet. It is not that simple, is the only thing that I can say. It's not as simple as me just from Rydell Mini Helmet Company, I'd like 500 mini helmets. It's a lot more work, but it is something that we do want to figure out. I'm hoping we can have that figured out this season, because that will be a nice add-on to our merchandise options.
Yeah, something tells me if you made 500, they would sell out rather quickly.
I was just gonna say, man, put me on the list if you do
I
get
will
them, because
buy
I
one.
want.
I second that, TJ. I second that, TJ.
I'll keep that in mind, and we were exploring getting a hat that was completely dyed and embroidered in our color scheme, and to look like our helmet but with a hat.
Go for it.
We couldn't materialize it and operationalize it. I think if we started, I think had we started in November of last year, which is when we were looking at it, I think it would have been done by October of this year. So we kind of missed the boat, but we are, we're always looking for that, what's that extra splash, and that's a benefit. If you ever get a chance to talk to our majority owner, he's always looking for the splash. He's the dreamer, and then I'm the one that says, let's now bring this into reality and roll it back a little bit. But it's a great partnership. It's a great working relationship, and it leads to some great innovations like our helmet. If I would have had my way, that helmet would have never come to be. So I'm always happy to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm now out of creative discussions after
that. You said, like, it's been other teams in Everett market, right? So what was your guys' strategy, how to tackle and get that community back on board, to get them to believe in arena football again, and to get butts in the seats?
Coach, that's a heavy question, because one of the prior teams, I would say, as diplomatically as I can, left a bad taste in the market's mouth when it comes to not paying bills, not following obligations. If anyone, quick Google search, and you can find the some of the struggles that happened with the Everett Hawks and the market. And I think issues that have followed that individual in all of his markets. So I would say, there was definitely some suspicion as we, built this organization. And you can read that in the newspaper. I have the article at home where it's, the Washington Wolfpack are going to suffer the same fate as every other arena football team. So I will certainly say, from a news standpoint, we didn't get any favors. No one was looking to roll out the red carpet for us, which I would say that was an unanticipated challenge. I don't know anytime a restaurant opens up in a city and the first article in the newspaper is, hey, other restaurants have failed in this city. There's no reason to think this restaurant's going to be successful. Who does that? You never see that type of press. But we knew that we were here to stay. We knew we were going to execute a phenomenal fan experience. And we built this crowd by talking to people, by going out and talking about arena football and inviting them to games. I think every one of our season ticket holders from year one has my cell phone number, which means that fans have a lot of opinions on on running a team, and they've got direct access to me. But that was how we built this, by being part of the fan base. I'm a fan. I've from day one said, I'm not a professional sports manager. I'm a fan of arena football that's looking to build something together from the fan perspective. So it has been, the retail politics, going out, talking to people, inviting them to games, letting them see the players. We've had players in the schools working with kids, kind of at-risk students, and building relationships there with kids and their families. We try to hit as many events as we can, particularly ones that are kid family oriented, because this is a great, affordable family experience. This isn't like outdoor football where you've got a lot of distance between you and the field. I mean, you all know this game. You're on the field practically. And getting that kind of exposure. And my favorite thing, I wander the stands during every game talking to families, and I've been doing this pretty methodically. I usually can recognize when it's someone's first game, and I'll go up and talk to them. And what I consistently hear back, particularly families with young kids, are, my kids enjoy this more than the Seahawks game, because of the proximity, the action, and it's 1/10 of the cost to come to our game versus a Seahawks game. So that has been the challenge. That's been the opportunity, is talking to people, getting them to a game, creating that fan experience. And I think that's where we get the most consistent positive feedback, is that fan experience. Of course, people would love us to win some more games. We would also love to win more games. And so this is going to be that year where we blend that fan experience with the wins, and be in a position where we're continuing to grow our season ticket holder list, which we have grown each year. We've doubled our season ticket sales this year, which most people would say that's going to be incredibly challenging following a 2-10 season to then double your season ticket sales. But it's been part of that process. We're still talking to people. We're still introducing this sport to a new generation of fans, and that's how we're going to grow the Washington Wolfpack. That's how the AF1 is going to grow. This is what other teams are doing as well. We are bringing the sport to fans. Fans are going to fall in love with it. It's an amazing sport. It's really an exposure. It's really getting this in front of people, getting them to experience, getting to catch a ball in the stands. We had a meeting with our accountant, and going over the bills, and he's, what's this $18,000 bill? I said, those are our footballs. And he said, why the heck are you buying $18,000 worth of footballs? Because they end up in the stands. That's what people are catching. That's what they're walking away. It's a foul ball in baseball, and that's an experience that one is amazing. It's no other sport like that. So this is really about introducing the sport, continuing to introduce the sport when we do, we see the results in the stands. We see the results in our season ticket sales. Most of our growth in season ticket sales have been, people who went to one game last year that fell in love with it and are now buying season tickets. So that's the model, and we're getting successful. There's still growth to be had. The hockey team that plays in our arena, the Everett Silvertips, who are having an amazing season, and I'm hoping win the WHL trophy this year. But they've been around 21 years. They're averaging 6,000 people a game. There's that opportunity to build that around our sport and their sport. We have the Everett Aqua Sox, who have great attendance and coming off a championship season as well. This area is a hotbed, and once we continue to get this sport in front of fans in our market, that's where we see this headed, which is why we were comfortable investing the type of resources we had into a property development. It's like you can't build that and then look for another market to move a team to. We are here for the long haul in Everett, Washington.
You spoke on something just a moment ago on the exposure of the team, getting the team in front of new eyes, casual fans. Part of that is obviously the streaming agreement. We've heard that Vice is coming back. Can you shed any light on what the other partner will be for the AF1 for fans?
Well, Vice coming on is official, and I believe the announcement was the other day. I'm one of the things that keeps me out of hot water is not releasing news ahead of time for the league. We're going to be. The exposure is going to be there, and I know everyone wants to know as much as we can as quickly as possible, and I can certainly relate to that. But it's all coming. It'll be here soon. The game's gonna be available. We're gonna be announcing our local market deal. It should be next week. We're just finalizing that. We're gonna be broadcast locally. I mean, we'll also be part of any type of national streaming. I believe looking at the schedule that Vice released, we're going to be on 4 Vice games this year. Our game, the AF1, is going to be available for fans, casual fans, diehard fans. We're going to be there, but I know once I start giving details, it's like Beetlejuice. Jerry Kurz is just going to pop up right next to me and smack me on the head and say, "Hey, these announcements are coming from the league."
Would not surprise me at all if he's watching right now. So, Jerry, if you're watching, hope you're having a great morning, sir. Enjoy that coffee, and hopefully we see you soon on the show again. But I really wanted to thank you for your time this morning. I really appreciate you coming on. I think I've admired Washington from afar because I'm a J.R. Wells fan. His energy is infectious. He's like the nicest guy in the world. So I love that you guys have kept him on and given him a chance to kind of build with the franchise and the organization. These guys know I'm a big defender of him, and I think that this season will be a little bit different for you guys given the way you've approached the roster building aspect of things. But just wanted to express my admiration and respect for how you guys have built things out there, because sometimes I think it takes a very special group to be able to build it slowly and kind of weather some of the losing that you guys have had to deal with, because of the approach that you had. But I like what you said about JR earlier about how he's composed enough to handle it. So I think that was a good way to put that. But before we let you guys get out of here for the day, is there anything you want to say to the Washington fans or anything at home or anybody at home?
For anybody at home, if you are in the Everett area, go to Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets for April 12th, Game 1. You're going to come and see probably the best game of arena football that you've ever seen. We're hitting this season strong. This is going to be an amazing experience. And for those outside of the Washington area, keep your eyes on the AF1. We are going to just be the pinnacle of this sport this season. So tune in, get Vice when the streaming deal's announced. Jump in, watch the games. I'm so excited about this season, and we're gonna show the AF1 is the premier league for all of arena football and all of the indoor game broadly.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure getting to learn more about the Washington Wolfpack, and we're very excited to see what you guys have in the future.
Happy to show up anytime. Thank you.
Definitely. Have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to the weekend of football.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Omaha Beef football. Prime dancers. Rump roasters. Slaughterhouse. Are you ready? DJ next one. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse where we run it. Yeah, we really want it. Beef Nation, girl, I'm shaking. Got a ring and we flown it. Prime dancers be on it. I bet the competition's no opposition. We come to take and we done it. Ricky is the G saying, let's go Beef. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse. Orange and Black about to win this. Defense stays on attack. You on our hit list. Spiking, blocking, and dumping, jumping out the gymnasium. You want to see the best? Meet us at the Beef Stadium. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Let's go Beef. Orange Kingdom. Slaughterhouse. Orange Kingdom. Prime dancers. Orange Kingdom. Let's roll, baby.
How many times a week?
Like three, four times maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
I don't, Coach B, I don't even know how to react to that. Like, that was crazy. But
What did I miss?
not just, hey, first of all, really appreciate him coming on. Really nice guy. I wish them the best on the business side. But to stand by a coach that goes 3-17 in his first 2 years and loses game by 50+ points, talking about a culture build is crazy to me. But that's just me.
Well, Respectfully, Krish, oftentimes you ignore the business side of the game.
Sure.
So, I mean, a lot of times to you, it's winning or it's nothing. And that's
But
fair.
Coach,
That's
he did
fair.
not admit that they need to spend money to win. Did he not admit that?
He did admit that. And that's the thing. He admitted that it was not going to come immediately because of the business side. So, you know, he mentioned multiple teams have been in Everett and they've come and gone, and that's burnt the market. So, in order to prove that you're different and you're going to be a stable entity,
You got to keep it the same a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be smart with your money, and in my opinion, and then also, you know, sometimes that might require taking your lumps, and I know that, like I said, it's not an approach that you would do personally, but that's okay.
Look, I'm not attacking him. I like him. I've had conversations with him. He's a really nice person.
Yes,
I know
great.
But Chris, what Shady was saying, you got to look at the business standpoint.
Yeah.
They've had 2 or 3 bad programs there. Even though he might not be the ideal coach, you cannot fire him from a business perspective right now because it doesn't carry or help with the buildup. So y'all might take y'all bumps and bruises. Do I think now this year? Yes, he's on the hot seat. He has to win a little bit because they gave him 2 years, and now it's the standard is the standard. They're not going to go into this new facility, new era like this with the same culture. So, but they still going to give him the benefit of the grace. But from a business standpoint, you cannot just fire him right now because the fans, the city, it would look like instability.
I'll go on record and say this: if he goes 5-7, you keep him for a 4th year.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think that's I think that's actually a very realistic record for them this year. And honestly, it would not shock me if they had a winning record, to be completely honest.
You're going a bit far, Sam.
Well, I said it wouldn't shock me. I didn't say it was going to happen necessarily, but it wouldn't shock me. We got a couple.
And hey, I mean, at the end of the day, if they were an organization that fired him and then started to bring all these resources in for the new guy, how would that look?
That would look bad as
You have a good point. Like, hey, you know, we got rid of JR. We're finally going to start spending some money on the roster. Here's our new coach. That would be a little rough for sure. But
I just don't think him and D. Millie will get along. You know, I like Coach D. Millie. I respect him, but they won't.
I do think they should have hired an offensive coordinator.
Should have.
That's fair, but I mean, isn't that kind of his background? Isn't he primarily?
Where?
Well, he coached at the developmental level for several years, semi-pro.
That doesn't give you the credibility in arena to be an offensive coordinator, especially when your offense is the worst in the league the last few years.
Right. But again,
I would take a little pay cut from my check and go get me somebody who actually knows how to call the arena game.
That's fair, but again, we don't know what the budget he was given over the past couple of years, you know, for his coaching staff and whatnot.
Now, what they really need to do, man, like respectfully, like they need next year if they go 4-8. I'm telling you what to do. And they need to move him to the front office. He's gonna do his hoo-ha, whatever, you know, in the community, and fire up the fan base. And they need to go out and get a real football coach and Coach Fuller, who lives in Washington. Please. I would love that. And you would agree with that. Coach Fuller with the Wolfpack, yeah, it's over with.
I mean, I don't disagree that Fuller's a good coach, but I also, again, I'm trying to think of the context of everything. You put J.R. Wells in a league that has Albany, that has Nashville, that has every other team in the league, Minnesota, all these teams that are spending a ton of money, and then you give him, hey, we're going to spend nothing over league minimum. That's tough for any team.
It don't matter. I bet you I could build a roster on a league minimum team and still compete and have a better record than that.
Right.
It's all about coaching.
This coming from the guy who was the head coach of the Iowa Rampage, that we're going to have like the second highest payroll in the league at the time.
No, we wasn't. Tell him, Chris.
Okay.
Tell him, was my payroll high?
Yes, it was.
Not all, though.
No. I paid
some players that were making money.
Sam, what you didn't know, yeah, when they re-signed with Tyus Jackson, they must have swindled him out of some money. But my highest paid player was Cato at $2K. and my quarterback. It was $1,800 with a $200 win bonus.
That's
My
a lot
highest
of
paid
money.
player for a quarterback. When
Yeah.
Sam Castronova is getting double that.
But Sam Castronova is a one-off, first of all. Second of all, that's my point, though. Okay, $2,000. That's literally 5 times what J.R. Wells can pay for players, for any
Not
player.
at the time. Me and JR could pay the same amount the first year. We remember I was the head coach. He was the head coach in the same league. We had the same budget. So I don't want to hear that excuse, Sam. Everybody in the league has
They
the
were
same
sticking
budget.
specifically to league min for every single player.
Yeah.
80% of my roster at Rampage was making $1,000 that season.
But then you went out and got a big money quarterback to lead the way.
And I got a top center and an offensive specialist and a defensive specialist, which you do in arena football as a coach.
But you got to spend money.
But you learn how to budget. Money. You learn how to manage your budget. If I know I need to pay a little bit more here, I'm going to pay less on the back end here. So it's called coaching.
Okay.
And managing.
You're talking coaching and managing.
All he did was pay less.
How do you pay guys less when you're already paying them league minimum? Yeah. Please explain that. I would love to know, because at that point, I think you're breaking the rules.
League minimum is league minimum.
Exactly. So if you're already paying every player on the team $400 per game, where are you taking that extra money from?
Because remember, we don't have a salary cap. Remember, we don't have a salary. We can pay minimum $400, but you can go up.
You don't have a salary cap from the league, coach.
No.
From the league, you don't have a salary cap. That does not mean your ownership group doesn't come to you and say, you have this much money to spend, and if you go over, we'll find another coach.
That's true. That's fair. But
we know that's happened.
But
we know that's happened.
With the league minimum, though, you still can get a good competitive roster to compete. Am I not lying?
I think you can get a competitive roster, yes. But when you're talking about going up against teams that are spending literally 3 to 5 times more on your salary, how can you honestly make a case that any coach can compete in those circumstances?
If their team across the board was getting paid min, at least 3 teams last year were paying like 3 or 4 starters that whole amount alone. It is very hard to compete with that when you're getting, min pay guys.
Well,
now, again, he stated, that doesn't mean you had bad players,
TJ.
But you had better talent elsewhere.
But then you're talking hiring more help. All these things that you're talking about is money.
No, because me as a coach, I'm gonna take a pay cut out of my salary to get me more help. I'm gonna think outside the box.
He had help around him last year. He had a defensive coordinator.
And he was offensive coordinator. He needs to be the head coach and hire an offensive coordinator.
I'll kind of combat that. That defensive coordinator was like 21, and it was like his first gig. So
and to be fair, he was a solid coach.
He probably wasn't even getting paid anything.
Of course.
Right. And he maybe wasn't getting paid anything. But again, guys, we literally just heard the owner tell us that he wasn't giving the coach a budget. Like, how can we argue this? This is a silly discussion. Like the fact that we've spent 20 minutes being like, well, he needs to spend more money on players. 10 minutes after the owner gets off the conversation, like, I'm just blown away that we're even having this conversation.
It's a one thing. I feel like
the one thing that I took from that interview was honestly what they have cooking there, and their plan in place is meant for long term. And in this sport, that's awesome.
Coach Victor Mann did do it with he beat out a whole league with a minimum budget roster. Victor Mann did do it, so you can't say it can't be done, Sam. And he did it twice.
I didn't say it can't be done. What I said is it can't be a realistic expectation for anybody to do it. And let's all agree
that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Victor Mann is a legend, correct?
Correct.
Like, we would put him on like the Mount Rushmore
it still was his first gig though. As your first coaching gig, you did that with minimum. It shows how he learned how to manage his roster and his money.
He's a legend for a reason. He's earned that title. And I'm not saying that. Look, we're talking about Victor Mann and J.R. Wells, right? These are two very different, broad points of the spectrum. You know what I mean? And I see your point. You are right. It's not impossible. It is not, right? But was Victor Mann competing against, teams like Albany when it comes to budget wise? And then maybe he was. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like I'm wrong. Okay, then maybe he was. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the man. Like I said, he's a legend for a reason. And maybe J.R. Wells will never be a legend in terms of the coach. But at the same point, like, we're taking a bunch of stuff away from the man as a coach without ever giving him similar resources to some of his peers.
Hey, in the NFL, every coach don't got the same resources. So I'm not gonna give somebody a edge when you want me to because they ownership didn't put in. That's not his fault or the ownership fault. But you as a coach, you gotta make do with what you get.
Yeah.
So if they do it in NFL and this is a professional sport, I'm not gonna give him no slack in the AF1. Who's supposed to be the standard? No.
That's fair, but I would say the gap in the NFL from the bottom.
Hey,
team
Chuck is not complaining in Oregon. He makes do with a minimum budget roster and he competes. He might not win every time, but he competes.
Who's Chuck going to complain to? I'm not trying to be rude about it, but like, is he going to
last year he could have complained to the owners.
Right,
the year before he could have complained to the owners.
But he was part owner last year, right?
Like 10%, I think. But hey,
like, he's gonna get on one side of the desk.
My thing is,
like, I need more money. Then he's gonna get on the other side and be like, I don't have it.
No, but I'm saying he makes do with a minimum budget roster. So I applaud him because he does find a way. He finds a way with nothing. So I cannot knock him because he do a good job at doing it. And he gets quality players.
He does a solid job at recruiting, and I would say, honestly, he does a better job than JR does. I will not argue that. You're right. 100%.
And he has less resources than JR, don't you think?
100%, based on the conversations we've had. But at the same point, how many years has Chuck Jones been involved in indoor football?
The same amount as JR, supposedly.
No. He just retired from indoor football like 3 years ago. And he played for a very long time. He retired at I want to say 35 years old or something like that. So he's been involved in the game for a very long time. And again, I know it sounds this way. I'm not trying to make excuses. All I'm saying is he hasn't had resources. So again, if he goes through this season and he's 1-9 or 10 or 11, I'm sorry, it's 12 games, right? 1-11, then at that point, absolutely. You have a conversation like, hey, it's probably time to move on. But I think we're at that point where he has to be given that opportunity to truly fail with resources before you can say, hey, he's a bad coach, is what I'm saying.
Give him this year and next year when he got full resources, and then we come back to this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, even if he goes through this year and has a rough year, then I would probably make the argument, okay, yeah, at this point we've probably got enough evidence to say he's not a great coach,
But at the same time, though, I say give him next year, though, because like you just said, we cannot get those new facilities and he not be there because it'll look pretty shady.
It would look a little shady, but I'm sure as we all know, they've stuck by him for 3 seasons now, so I don't think that's really a concern at this point. But yeah, anyway, we got a little off in the weeds. Like I said, I'm a defender of J.R. Wells, huge fan of the guy. I think he's a great dude, high energy, type of coach I would want to play for. Let's put it that way. If I was a player, when I strapped on the cleats and started kicking, the resources of the coach you hire and the relationship he can cultivate with the players. Bingo. That is very
and that's what Coach D in Vegas, he does a great job with that. And coaches like him, you build relationships. That's the biggest thing. Guys like Tua, Dixie in Indy, relationships are everything. So
absolutely. There's a lot of comments rolling in. Owner admitted they didn't give Wills a budget. Coach B slowly morphing into Krish was not on my bingo card. I think they're more alike than you may give him credit for. All about coaching, 100%. And look, there's coaches that can overcome damn near anything they're put against, and there's coaches that couldn't coach their way out of a wet paper bag. Okay, we all know this. We're not dumb here, but at the same time, I just haven't gotten to the conclusion that J.R. Wells is one of those second category yet. Maybe he proves me wrong, but until he does, I'm not prepared to say that yet. A better record doesn't matter when teams fold. That's a good one. Are we getting Krish out today? We might. I honestly probably should have done that for myself before I went on my rant just now, but this is why some coaches don't get hired when they think they should. He said this is the year. He admitted they haven't given Wills the tools the past 2 years. Business side matters more than most people think. Mario Flores, owner of the West Michigan Ironman, checking in 100%. Losing games but gaining ticket sales is winning, period. That's fair. Great stuff. Washington, good work. A lot of fan engagement at their games. Could keep up the good work, which I will say they are doing a really good job on that front for sure. I would pay $100 for a well-done Wolfpack mini helmet. That's a lot of money for a mini helmet. I like that Wolfpack logo and everything, but that is a lot of money. Looks awesome.
I was thinking like 50, maybe 60.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's about what they run.
I think they have one of the better uniform schemes in the arena, though. I ain't gonna lie.
100%.
By far.
100%.
Yeah, by far.
I love their metallic helmets from last year. That was great.
Yes. Sorry, preach. I tell people all the time, once you work for sports, you're no longer a fan. 100%. Meant in the sense you're looking at everything through a works. So 100% you are. And I'm sure it's a different feeling for sure. Ask the big question, when are there mini helmets going on sale? Have they signed a kicker? I think they have a pretty solid kicker this year, don't they? I can't remember who they signed. Vincent Espinoza's pretty solid quarterback. He might be one of the better ones they've had so far, so it'll be interesting. J.R. Wells or Chuck retired 3 years ago. It was Chuck Jones. And maybe 4 years ago, he was with the Oregon High Desert Storm in 2022, I believe, as a player. 2023, I want to say, was his first year as a coach for the Oregon High Desert Storm. And then he was with the Black Bears in 24, and then the Lightning in 25 and 26. So I think.
Yeah, I give him credit. When a poverty franchise needs a player to step up, he had that experience. So I'm saying.
And there's the comment that I am so glad waited till after the owner was off. But yeah,
you gotta add a backhanded compliment warning with the Krish out.
Something. I think that we got some stuff cooking. I didn't have it ready for today, but we'll have some more samples and stuff coming up. Trying to make this show a little bit more entertaining, as if it's not entertaining enough already, in my personal opinion. But yeah, on that note, we will definitely have some more things coming for you guys. But we're gonna is there anything else AF1 that we need to talk about? Let me pull up my document.
It's been a lot of roster movement going on. I know that.
A lot, like crazy in Nashville too. Oh my
Okay,
God.
let me pull that one up. That's right. Nashville had like 5 players refuse to report, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wonder why is that though?
I wonder if it's just like maybe they couldn't get no, because
I don't know. Hey, Coach B, I'm gonna ask you, what do you think? You think our vet can win with younger players at this point in his career? He needs vets.
I'm not gonna lie. Kentucky is like my team right now. Them and Albany. I'm favoring Kentucky and Albany right now.
All right. So here is the most recent. Ooh, I didn't see this move before. Kevin Toot retired?
I know.
Yes.
Wow, I missed that entirely. That's crazy. That's a big blow for Albany.
Man, the last 3 Albany got stronger, man. I think I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the best Albany roster I done seen them put together.
I like Kevin Toot, man. If he wants a little bit of change of scenery in the IFL, it's a nice place down there.
Nobody's going to Orlando, buddy. You barely got past New Mexico, so just save your breath.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. We got something to talk about when it comes to that. For sure.
Isaiah Hardy, obviously coming back from the UFL.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
I know you went to sleep dreaming about Damon Street.
Anyway, so Kyle Kaplan, this is big. Quad City, he was okay with them. I think he's a good kicker for the Deuces. So Nashville, I know they cut Gunnar Rayborn. So I don't know if they bring him back. I know he's local to Nashville, so I could see them signing him back.
Hey, kicker's a big deal right now. You've seen a lot of kickers win and lose games right now. So
yeah, tell your boy Ben McCoy how important a kicker is because he doesn't understand that. Bray Walker, trying to tell me a receiver can play kicker. Like, come on, man. Bray Walker, offensive line. Where did he play before? I know that name. Was he with Nashville before? Bray Walker.
I think he was. I think he was with Nashville before, but he was also somewhere else before that. I just don't recall where. I want to say
Zion Bird was signed. I believe Zion Bird was signed to Salina at one point. So that's an interesting move for Nashville.
Let's talk about the quarterback situation in Nashville.
I want to talk about an embarrassment of riches. Holy cow.
Man.
They got three. They got two. Main one and then Low, right? So Jones,
right.
Coca, Low. I mean,
you be counting out Low like he's not bad, bro.
He's not bad, but I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, Josh Jones and Tyler Kolka. He's definitely the third.
And I'm gonna say this, and I know people gonna look at me crazy, but I think Jones gonna win the QB spot.
And that isn't crazy at all.
No, not crazy at all, honestly. I think that he brings something to the table that Kolka does not.
Who's the OC? Is it still my boy, Coach AP, down in Nashville? Or
no, they got a new OC. They got a new OC this year. I don't know who it is.
OC. I haven't heard the name.
I almost think it's Kolka's job to lose.
Yeah, I think they definitely. I mean, bringing him back, it was a big move. But I think bringing in Josh Jones at a minimum. I think just based on his mobility alone, you see some packages with him, and maybe I'm wrong.
Do you see
some
them keeping
definitely.
both? Because I don't see Kolka staying if he's the backup.
No, I actually don't. That's why I think we see some packages with Jones. So Jones is obviously suspended in the IFL, right? But I mean, he would obviously have options if he needed it, but I don't see him necessarily leaving. Just because I think his pay would probably be substantially less in any other league, even as a starter. I mean, I don't know what Nashville's paying him. I just assume based on, some of the other numbers I've heard coming out of Nashville.
So Sean Schroeder looks like he got detained at the border. He was from, they hyped him up, international player they signed. Tyler Coker needs to stop signing friends from overseas. That's the guy they signed.
What did you just say?
Detained at the border, like that's what we refer to international players as.
That's what he refers to internet. Let's just make that clear. It's not we, it's he.
I do not condone that.
Hey, I haven't seen your boy. I haven't seen your boy for Southwest, Rafael Rico. I didn't see him out there last game, so I did.
You might want to go back and watch the tape, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. So Sean Trotter, he actually signed somewhere overseas again. I just saw it. Oh, Lord. I think it's somewhere in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to look it back up. But Justin Alexander surprised me a lot. Desmond Maxwell, Derek Ziegler.
Yeah, well, considering how much money he gets paid.
All of those guys.
Ziegler, that's what I was wondering. What happened with that? Because I just knew he was going to report.
I think if you look at it, I think Nashville has a very talented roster. So I think that some of these guys might be the higher paid guys. And I'm speculating. I have no idea. But if you have
makes sense
similar production out of a guy who's making a substantial amount less or even a small amount less,
I'm going to go with that less money.
Oh,
I'm not going to lie to you.
I think Kentucky, from what I heard too, I believe Kentucky has a higher payroll than Nashville this year. I would think.
Still
it wouldn't
be
surprise
Albany.
Me. I honestly, outside of Castronova, it wouldn't shock me if Kentucky has one of the higher payrolls. Honestly.
Yeah, I still think Albany.
Especially this year. They got some dogs over there, man.
Joe Powell,
Mike Lee. Really good team.
Oh, my God.
That entire team, they're nuts.
They got Jalen Wilson. Man, this kid is 6'4", 6'5", can play corner and jack.
That's crazy. I definitely think Coach Walker's got probably one of the most talented rosters he's ever had, and I mean no disrespect
Yes.
to his team in 2024 that won the championship, because they were very talented as well. But this roster is stacked.
Yeah, it's also easier to recruit to Kentucky than it is to Billings, Montana. Let's just be real.
True there. That's a good point.
Which
should be getting my Kentucky Barrel shirt soon.
Oh yeah. Dang! Now we got
I had to follow Coach Walker. Come on,
That's fair. That's fair. So let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll come back with a couple things in the TAL, and then we'll kick over to the IFL, cover the rest of the topics in that, and we'll button this bad boy up with the NAL today, given that we do not have an NAL guest. By the way, real quick, I just wanted to shout out Washington Wolfpack and Fisher's Freight for allowing us to borrow some of their members of their team this morning for some guest spots. They were both great guests this morning. Very, very solid, well-spoken guys. So a lot of respect for them to coming on early this morning. I know Jaden Rose got some stuff going on later on this afternoon, I'm sure. So definitely appreciate all them. But
Jaden's great, man. I mean, watched him play last
awesome.
year twice. He's developing, a more of a, man-to-man corner. He's going to be great in this league, honestly. So,
agreed.
Hey, Chris.
I love the T-shirt, man. He got you right.
I feel like we're kind of rubbing it in for TJ up here now. We literally all have Vegas Nighthawks on.
TJ, you still ain't got your stuff?
It's still lost in shipping.
It'll be in the mail on Monday.
It's been put in the mail 3 straight Mondays, so
it's Coach Davis' favorite line.
Watch it'd be hilarious if at some point just like a pile of shirts just show up at your house. You have like 8 packages, and this whole time we've been razzing Coach Davis, and he actually did send out 8 packages. He's like, assholes.
Hey, that'd be crazy.
But we'll hit that commercial break. We'll be right back.
The mountains you climb, maybe stairs. The records you set, maybe personal. The fans you inspire, maybe family. No lights, no camera, just action. You don't have to be a pro. You just need HoneyStinger.
All right, we are back, and we're going to talk about the rest of the IFL topics, TAL, and then we will get back to the IFL. Excuse me. Memphis is now looking to hire a manager of business development. They're looking to expand their front office in addition to their recent general manager announcement. They are also already announcing partnerships. So they've recently announced their first sponsorship. I do not have it right here what the business name was, but we did share it on LinkedIn. For whatever reason, the TAL, the Arena League, is very active on LinkedIn. So if you're wondering why you're not seeing a ton of stuff on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, look up the people on LinkedIn. They all post a lot about the league.
Monroe is announcing a head coach on Thursday at 1:30.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. There we go. How you feel about that, Monroe? I know a bunch of guys down there.
Hey, they said it's Monroe royalty. You're gonna be leading.
Yeah, they did say so. It means it's somebody local, I think, with big ties to the city. I'm waiting to see who it is.
It makes sense.
Man, I'm gonna have to dig into that one a little bit.
What's up with Memphis head coach search? Have we heard anything back on that?
As of right now, he has not given me anything, but he said he has not given me anything. But he said he will keep us informed as the search goes along. So I'm very curious to see like who are some of the names on that list as well. I think there's probably some pretty good options there locally in Memphis, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know anybody off the top
Yeah.
of my head, but that's one of those cities where I feel like a lot of coaching members come out of.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Tyus Jackson take it. He's from Memphis, go back home.
He was in the TAL past couple years, right?
Yep.
Yep, with the Woo last year, and then with us with Kansas City, the first year.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, bring in somebody who's familiar with the rules, knows the game really well. Obviously, a well-respected coach. If he's local, that's even better. I mean, that makes a lot of sense for sure. The other big move that I saw, and maybe you guys are aware of some others that I need to be aware of, but Terry Jones has signed with the Ozarks Lunkers. I'm probably a bigger fan of Jones than most people out there. I watched him in the FCF. I feel like he's kind of gotten a bad break since then. Some of the teams he's been on have not really had a ton of talent around him, and he still managed to do some decent things. But what are you guys' thoughts on that overall from the TAL? Or any of the subjects from the
Yeah,
TAL?
I mean,
A good signing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Cam down in the Ozarks, he has a very interesting recruiting philosophy. Let's just say that. I think sometimes he thinks players are way better than they are, and he's a little delusional when it comes to that. But I hope wish him the best. And I don't think Terry Jones is the best quarterback. I think he should switch positions. He had more of a tight end build, so that's just my opinion, though.
I still think they got a chance to bring in Coca again if they need to. One thing I can say, they got the resources down there to do it. So
Yeah, not only the
don't count that
billion.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, that might be their play. If
Yeah, like
Jones
how you gonna
doing
get mad at him because he's a billionaire, Chris?
Also, Trey Jones doesn't have a fast release. Like his release is really slow, so I'm a little confused on why you wouldn't
You
go.
need
Out there.
you need competition at camp.
You know what I mean?
Well, I honestly think his skill set in my mind works for the TAL because of his mobility more, because his ability to like freelance in the open field.
I see.
Yeah, TAL relies on dual threats.
Shout out
QBs.
to the St. Joe Goats. They had 3 players go out for the USA
That's right.
trials, and Boo Smith. Congratulations on making the roster, my guy.
Not a surprise. Boo Smith was in camp with the Chiefs a couple years ago, so not surprised at all to see him make the roster. That's awesome. Thank you for shouting that out. I actually did not put that on our document, although that would have been a great topic to have put on there, because I did see that, and the Joes were very vocal about that as well. So good on them for highlighting their players doing good things. Also, for the record, I wanted to throw this out there as well. There has been a post going around by the Lunkers that they are looking to expand their coaching staff. So if you're looking to get your foot in the door with a coaching staff in the TAL, they are looking to add to their coaching staff in addition to Cam Bruffett. So could be a good opportunity if you're a young up and coming coach somewhere down in the South there.
Yeah, you'll be the defense coordinator by week 3, so it's a great opportunity.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just saying a vertical movement is a good thing when you're looking at potential job opportunities. So if that's something you think might be a realistic opportunity, not a bad thing. So on that note, we're going to transition over to the IFL unless you guys have anything else from the TL you want to talk about.
I think the GOAT's going to win it all.
I honestly haven't seen a ton on the rosters overall. So that is one thing that I just don't know enough about the rosters in general to say who's my early favorite yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hot Springs, you always look at Hot Springs. I mean, I know Bones and them, they're going to spend money. He spent a lot of money there on the team, roster-wise. I know Zico, our receiver, he's now with Hot Springs. He's out in Japan right now, so I know he's going to come back and report to Hot Springs when they report to camp in a couple of weeks. So we'll see.
He's in Japan, like playing?
No, just visiting right now.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
I talked to Zico yesterday. He told me he was in Japan. I said, that's crazy, man. This dude, he just do whatever, man.
Yeah, Zico be Zico.
Dang.
he's a unique individual from what I've heard. I don't know him personally, so sorry, go ahead.
No, I love him. Good character guy, man.
Yeah, I've never heard anything bad about it. I've heard he's unique. He's not your average person, which that's to me that's not a bad way to describe anybody. I hope
not at all. Yeah,
I hope people describe me as not average. Hopefully, average is the opposite of what I wanted to be described as. But anyway, let's move on to the IFL games. There was a few games this past week. I don't know if you guys heard. It wasn't just news outside of football last week. So we will go ahead and look back at a couple of those games. We already talked about the Fishers Green Bay game, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time there. Overall, Green Bay won 51-42 over Fishers. We spoke about that earlier with Jaden Rowe while he was here, but Quad City got their first win of the season, 46-25 over Iowa. What are you guys' thoughts on this game? I personally thought Iowa was going to put up a little bit more of a fight. Let's go to TJ first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the biggest takeaway I took from this game were the adjustments that Quad City made. Not, you hear a lot of times halftime adjustments, but what about in-game adjustments? And in-game, just looking at the scores by the periods, they outscored Iowa 24-9 in the second quarter, and then held Iowa out of scoring in the fourth quarter. Those were two big quarters. And that shows that in-game adjustments, coaching on the fly, even just players adjusting to different levels of physicality or the style of the guy that they're against at any given position, they made that made the difference in the game. And the Steamwheelers, bouncing off of a week 1 loss, got back in the win column, and I think they're on a good track to get back into the playoffs if they continue this trend.
Absolutely. Coach B, it sounded like you had something to say.
No, I agree with everything TJ said. Like, I think that was one of the better adjustment games out of Coach Ross I've ever seen. I didn't imagine that I would see a day that Coach Ross outcoached Coach Coles, and they actually, as a coaching staff, they outcoached them. And I'm a Coach Coles guy all the way, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Like, Quad City bounced back, and they bounced back in a major way.
Absolutely. Krish, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think offensively, Iowa kind of had some trouble. They tried to establish a run game early on, and they were able to a little bit. But, I mean, I don't think Harry Ruba, I'm not going to butcher his last name, but I don't think he's the answer for them at quarterback, honestly. He went 9 for 23 with 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns, but all his touchdowns were under 10 yards. So, for me, I just don't think he's the answer. I think they want to run a pass-heavy offense. And then defensively, Andre Coles is out there calling the defense. So I want to know what experience he has, calling defense. So that to me says a lot about how he feels about his defensive coordinator, Snoop Blackman. If you don't have your DC out there calling defense, it's like, what are we doing? So I think Iowa is kind of the same old team, in my opinion. They'll win 3. They'll go like 3-14. Or 3-13.
Interesting.
And they'll be happy with that. I mean, they're used to it, right? So
I don't know that they'll be happy with that. I actually think Andre Coles is really doing his damnedest to try and win some games and turn around that program there and hopefully get some.
I'm sure he is, but I like I said, I respect Julie in Iowa down there. She's one of the first females in the indoor football league, but I just think her knowledge on personnel is a little limited. And so I think she should have brought in someone to kind of help with that, in my opinion. She's 18-53 as GM of Iowa. So
that's fair. That's fair. I'd be.
I know you live in a world where nice people win championships, but I don't. So
I'm not even sure how to consider that. Like, it's okay. Anyway, moving on with life. I was more actually gonna proceed by saying I'd wonder how much actual input she has on the roster in general. Typically in my experiences, most coaches typically build the rosters indoors, right? So I would be surprised if she had much of any input in the front office, or the roster building, to be honest. But I did want to shout out a couple players that I thought were interesting that they picked up. I mean, Curtis Ravenel ended up having a decent game, 5 receptions for 72 yards. He also returned 2 kicks for 41 yards. Ivan Corbin, the way they used him kind of really intrigues me. And I'm curious to see like how they use him going forward, and at what point do you make a move at quarterback with Robideau, throwing 3 interceptions in this game. So wouldn't surprise me at all if Iowa makes a change there, fairly quickly to Corbin, who is a pretty quality player. In my opinion, I think he's a really good fit for the IFL standard. Moving on to the Orlando Pirates versus the New Mexico Chupacabras. This very nearly turned into a game where Krish was going to eat some crow, but Orlando barely pulled it out at 41-38. If I remember correctly, let me check the score again. Yeah, 41-38. Sorry about that. In Paxton DeLawrence, first start of the season, because hours before the game, the Pirates announced that Talia Tagovailoa was signed by the Houston Gamblers to replace Donovan Smith, who was released prior in the week. So, Krish, what were your thoughts on this game overall? And then also, why don't you open with your thoughts about Talia going up and then get to the game?
Yeah,
Sam,
so
he don't get any thoughts.
no. So and I'll address that too. So we'll start with Talia. Obviously, proud of him. Obviously, a guy coming through our program. When you have the chance to kind of move up and develop, and guys always getting an opportunity at a higher level. That's the whole point of the league. So Talia is another one, that came through. He played a game for us. He was there for about 5 weeks. So, really happy for him to get that opportunity at a higher level. In terms of the game, we went in, we came out a little slow. Obviously, we got the opening. We let up the opening rouge on kickoff. But offensively, man, I could not be more proud of that unit from going out there and performing the way they did. We scored 5 out of 7 drives. Quarterback making his first start, right? He threw 3 incompletions. I mean, look at efficiency, 17 for 20. That's efficiency. One of the, 2 of the passing were dropped by receivers. So really, realistically, I mean, he had a really good game. He played great. 1 passing touchdown, obviously. I know that says 2, it was 1. But, Puka, I mean, like I've said time and time again, Puka's the best running back in this shit. He's a really, really good weapon to have. He can carry the offense himself. And so, we need to get him more involved in the receiving game. I would like to see him. I mean, he was wide open in the flat multiple times, and we kind of missed him there. But we got good receiving, man. Our receiving core is one of the best in the league, in my opinion. I mean, people can say what they want about the guys being older or whatever. No, but those guys have experience. T.O. Redding, he's in great shape. So, credit to New Mexico. Obviously, I talked a lot of shit. I won't eat crow. Others will eat dick, but I won't eat crow. So I'll be realistic, and they played a great game, and I'm happy for them. And they have a long season ahead. Jerome Johnson should be off Twitter instead of trash talking me and telling me to sit at my desk. Nah, bud, go to the film room. Warning. I'm just being honest though. He played. But in all honesty, he played a great game. He shined. He made throws. He made plays, and we didn't. Our DB room had a far way to go. Far, if we want to contend at the championship level. Jerome played great. I mean, he was pressured all game. Damon Street, I'll give you credit, Coach B. I didn't think he was built for this level. I think there's levels to this shit, and he really came out and performed. Another guy, CJ Jefferson, former Vegas Nighthawk, 2025 IFL champion. So they played good. I mean, they really made plays. They made plays in critical moments. And,
Put some respect on my OC name too.
Yeah, I mean, 30. You can say 35. I counted at 28 because one of the touchdowns they scored, he was 2 yards short of the end zone. But we in New Mexico, they call anything, right? They can't manage the clock properly. They can't manage stats properly. They can't manage anything. And I know it was their first game, but if that continues to be an issue, if Coach Davis and them go down and have problems with that, we'll be hearing all about it. If Coach Scott has a problem with that in Arizona, when they go down to New Mexico, then we'll hear about it. Because our team had issues, and I was just complaining. And that's how it's always been. But it's fine. It's good. We won.
A win is a win. Take the win.
Exactly. People can say whatever they want. We won the game. We're 1-0. A new era of Pirate football. So we got a long way to go. We got Quad City next week, and we're about to do some unholy things to Quad City. So just be ready. Stay warm.
So Krish has a point about these stats. Something might stick out to you here. CJ Jefferson does not play kicker. He is a wide receiver. Wesley Bowers, he plays defensive end / linebacker. He did not catch a pass. That is not accurate. Ben Derby is a kicker. He did not catch a pass either, and he sure as hell didn't score a touchdown. Keandre Hall, that's a defensive lineman. Pretty sure he didn't carry the ball. So, these stats are atrocious. Roderick Williams, defensive back, did not kick an extra point, I assure you. Wesley Bowers, again, probably did not return a kickoff. So it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about how good the IFL is. And this is one area where they just fell flat on their face when it comes to the stats. They preached all off season. And I'm to be completely honest, I'm stealing this rant from Cody. So if you have not heard his rant, go look at his channel, go watch his most recent.
But, long story short,
Krish, I'm in the middle of a statement, my friend. Gee.
I feel you, but I stepped up, and so I got some things working on the back end, with that. So I'll kind of leave it at that. But I'm hoping that I can help make some changes in that department. That's it. I want the league to be successful. I know how successful it can be, and this is just a little thing they need to clean up. And with the right leadership, anything's possible. So.
We'll see how long.
He's still going to keep talking, but he
the
feels
transaction page is never updated. It just, I don't know. They supposed to be the standard, and you gotta be the standard, like Sam said.
It'll be fine. Don't worry, it'll get fixed. Don't worry.
So one of our topics for today is that there's a football analytics intern position open for the league right now, and our boy Krish has applied. So there you go.
I'm sorry, their job post kind of cracked me up though. It was like unpaid internship, but you get to handle our league information.
Well, look, TJ. You have a full-time job, right? All three of you do, right? So it's a different perspective. When you're younger, I think it's a great opportunity to get in the door and kind of, if you're passionate about it, like me, like I'm passionate about it. And I know stats more than anyone in the country does. So, put your check on me type deal. So, I'll let my work do the talk, but.
No, I think it's a great opportunity. Now can I justify the time needed for that? Absolutely not, but I think for, we talked about it off camera, Krish. I think for a man like you're in college, you want to be in football for your career. I think this is a great opportunity for you to put on a resume that you were a football analytics intern for a full league before you graduate college. That is
you watch every game, right? Like if you, are engaged, and you want to make something that you're passionate about better, right? Why not? That's my perspective on it,
Makes sense to me. But moving on to the next game, and probably one of the better games of the weekend, in my personal opinion, the Naz Wranglers took on the San Diego Strike Force, and this turned out to be one of the more interesting games of the weekend last week. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was like a walk-off 2-point conversion attempt, and Naz didn't convert, and that ended up ending the game with San Diego winning by 2 points. So it was a really interesting end of the game. As mentioned before, we have Ramon Atkins and Nate Davis playing against each other, two of the better quarterbacks in the league. Atkins accounted for 6 total touchdowns, according to the stats, which are probably not accurate. Nate Davis threw a couple touchdowns as well. Jalen Sample, I think his stats are pretty close because he had a pretty big game. It seemed like every time I turned around, they were calling his name. And then same thing with Edward Vander, had a huge game. He's kind of the driving force of that offense. But TJ, what were your thoughts about this game? Did you get a chance to watch the whole thing?
Yeah, man, it was a great game. Naz really showed that they have improved as a team. They got really close. In San Diego, I mean, they've them in Vegas. They've kind of followed kind of the same blueprint of just building, becoming better teams as the years go on. So San Diego coming into the season, they're assumed to be one of the better teams, and the Wranglers went toe to toe with them. The big killer was Atkins turnovers, man. Especially down in the red zone. They were or close to the red zone. They were in a position to score, come away with some kind of points. And you look how close the game was. To me, that was the difference. But all in all, I mean, compared to the team that we saw last year to this game, they've made a big improvement. I think they're going to definitely be in the mix as the season goes on if they can continue to trend this way. But it was definitely a good game and probably the game of the weekend. To be honest with you, it was a really fun one to watch.
Absolutely. And this was on, God, correct my memory. This was on overnight, correct?
Monday Night Football and overnight.
Yes. Thank you. This was definitely one of those showcase games where I think overnight was probably really, really happy that they had this game on their network that night, because it was a very good game all the way down to the wire. But Coach B, what are your thoughts on this game?
Man, TG did what he always do. He brung him out prepared, ready to go. Nate was immaculate, but what do you expect from him and Ramon though? You was gonna get that anyway. A great show. A lot of people be like, San Diego good. San Diego is always gonna be good. And you got to realize they brung back damn near almost their whole offense and just added more weapons at wide receiver. So what did you do? You just gave Nate Davis a bigger chance of going all the way this year. But realistically, if you look at it, most of San Diego games are always close like that or shootouts. That's what Nate Davis known for. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I think it's probably for a reason. But yeah, I think you're right, honestly, and I think San Diego's done a really good job of retaining their guys. Which honestly, you look at this roster, and I kind of wonder, like, how do they not have too many veterans?
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy, ain't it?
But a lot of them, I guess, are not technically vets yet, so it's crazy.
They did a good job of recruiting out there. I ain't gonna lie, like they with Nate Davis at quarterback, you always gonna be in the game. So they did what they were supposed to do. NAZ, Coach Hendricks did say what he said when he come on the show that you watch out for them. They're gonna be a whole different team, and they definitely was a whole different team.
Absolutely. Yeah, they might have started 0-1, but they definitely did not look like the Naz Wranglers.
Man, chill. That was a joke. All right, let's chill out, man. But
yes, it was a joke, but yeah, Krish, professionalism, my friend.
Exactly. Like, this is a different side of me. I mean, the real ones don't. I'm one of the most professional people in the country. So,
to be fair, this is entertainment, guys. Keep that in mind. This is Krish is entertaining. Let's put it that way. There's a reason why.
You should have two versions of yourself, right? And so this one,
What you get on here is not the Chris you're gonna get if he's at your arena broadcasting your game or things like that.
Yeah, doing stuff with it. But about this game, man, look, I mean, Ramon sometimes at the same time, in my opinion, is very, he was very inconsistent. Obviously, 15 for 29, you see it just over 50%. But for me, like, sometimes I said it in our chat, he looks like a vet, and then he looks like a rookie. I mean, the pump fake, he tried to go deep with it. I mean, left corner of the end zone, it's like, take the open running lane. There's certain things. I want to see Ramon run the ball a little more. I mean, I want to see him run 11. For them to win games, I believe he needs to run the ball 10 to 15 times. Maybe over 10. Let's say over 10. Let's say 10 plus. You got to keep the ball on the ground, man. I mean, they had opportunities. They got turnovers. You stopped Nate Davis 3 times. You gotta score. You lose by 2 points. It comes down to that. So
I think they also need to get Nolan Susel more involved too. I mean, 7 carries for 4 yards. You got to get more creative in the run game. Find ways to open up some holes for him.
Look, Coach James, this is his first year calling indoor football offense. Last year he wasn't the OC. It was 5 early, so he's gonna learn and he's gonna develop as a play caller. Best believe.
Agreed. I definitely agree on that. This is a good comment here. Edward Vander. would have won Offensive Player of the Week if Liam Thompson didn't score all those touchdowns for the Blizz. Edward Vander's a beast. 14 touches, 70 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day, according to the stats. Again, I'm not entirely positive that those are 100% accurate, but at the end of the day, he had a great game. So that kind of concludes most of our topics for the IFL. There is one more that I wanted to talk about. The Jacksonville Sharks.
We got to do a betting picks, right?
Yeah, we will. So the last topic at hand for the IFL, the Jacksonville Sharks have announced a helmet sponsor. They're touting it as the first ever, which I thought was interesting. I mean, I don't know what they're technically considering first ever, but anyway, they have this partnership with HCA Florida Healthcare as the first ever helmet sponsor. So very interesting sponsorship and partnership there for Jacksonville that kind of caught me off guard. I mean, I figured we were probably past the point of announcing partnerships for this season, but great move by Jacksonville. Potentially providing the most up-to-date safety equipment for your players should be something that everybody can get behind and support. So good on Jacksonville for providing the necessary and best possible equipment for their guys. So it's probably their first ever helmet sponsor. Thank you for clarifying that, because I was very confused how they were trying to say that, and honestly, it'd be a little surprising if it's their first, even given that they've been around for so many years at this point. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We will come back with our betting picks from DraftKings, and then we will go ahead and
I got some juicy information that you're only going to hear here. So,
all right. Well, in that sense, stick around with us, and here's your obligatory warning.
I don't know what we're yelling about! Loud noises!
Omaha Beef football! Prime dancers! Rump roasters! Slaughterhouse! Are you ready? DJ next one. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse where we run it. Yeah, we really want it. Beef Nation got 'em shaking. Got a ring and we flown it. Prime chances be on it. I bet the competition's no opposition. We come to take and we done it. Ricky is the chief saying, let's go Beef. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse. Orange and Black about to win this. Defense stays on attack. You on our hit list. Spike and blocking and dumping, jumping out the gymnasium. You want to see the best? Meet us at the Beef Stadium. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Let's go Beef. Orange Kingdom. Slaughterhouse. Orange Kingdom. Prime dancers. Orange Kingdom. Let's roll, baby.
All right, we are back, and we will discuss our IFL picks and bets here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and pull those up for you. Was having a small issue while I was doing that vaccines, but I will go ahead and get that pulled up. Krish, who are you betting on this week?
Yeah, so First I kind of want to, peel back some layers here. So Arizona and San Diego, San Diego at Arizona, obviously how last year ended, right? A lot of people are picking Arizona because of that. I feel like you would think, Arizona signing Max Mailer in the offseason, it amplifies their commitment to him as the starting quarterback, right? And I'll admit, I neglected the fact that they had Drew Powell on the roster. Drew Powell's a multi-time MVP winning quarterback. And so the word is out of Arizona, per multiple sources, Drew Powell is going to be quarterback 1 going into the season. Max Mailer will be QB2.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
They're putting Max Mailer on the bench?
Yes, that's the word out of Arizona.
Hey, that just blew my mind.
Yeah. So Drew Powell will be quarterback 1 tonight. I expect him to take starting reps.
Is that confirmed?
That will be confirmed tonight at 5 o'clock on Yahoo Sports. So.
And you're pretty sure about this?
Yes. I'm really
wow. That would be downright
breaking news screen.
Just watch at 5 o'clock. But we'll see. But anyway, so I think you guys are surprised. I was surprised, but I'm not surprised at the same time. I mean, Drew Powell's a multi-time winning MVP quarterback. He's won a championship in this league. He's no bum.
That's true.
He's not like someone off the street that came and won. He's been there. He lived in Arizona, right? Max does too, but he's a staple of the franchise in Arizona. So not really surprising. Anyways, so my pick for the game. I like Arizona -3.5. I think they have a lot to prove tonight, and they'll come out and they'll be able to. San Diego defense doesn't really inspire me like that, so give me Arizona. You want me to do all my picks? Yeah, so I'll do them all. Yeah. So Jacksonville, Northern Arizona. It's kind of disrespectful, man. Jacksonville going into Northern Arizona's house, and Northern Arizona is 3.5-point underdog. Give me Northern Arizona +3.5. I think they'll be able to, establish a good pass game. I don't believe exactly in the defensive backs. But I'm excited for my boy Jimmy Robinson and Dante Lucas down in Jacksonville. So I wish him the best of luck. Jimmy's first day out after the ACL injury. So give me Northern Arizona +3.5. I don't even take Northern Arizona on money line too. Why not? Tulsa, San Antonio. So this is another one. We all assumed, going in we'll start with Tulsa. So TJ Edwards is back. He's healthy. He's ready to go. I'm really happy for TJ to be able to recover. Obviously, he got hurt against us last year. Seeing a guy come back after that and still have a passion and want to play indoor football is really inspirational. So I'm really happy for TJ. They have kept the same offense pretty much. They signed Mike Carrington from, Vegas coming down after winning a championship. He's a vet. That's a good vet to have. San Antonio side. So another interesting news. So I've been hearing out of San Antonio again, through the woods, that Fred Payton has had an incredible camp. Incredible. And if you notice, all the photos they posted from their training camp are Fred Payton taking reps. So I'm being told, and I've heard, that Fred Payton is quarterback 1 going into this game against Tulsa. That's not really surprising. Bane wants to run a high pass offense, and Fred Payton fits that style. Fred Payton also plays a lot like how Bane played as a player. So I like Tulsa to win this game. I don't think they'll be able to go toe-to-toe yet. Another name I want to point out for San Antonio is wide receiver Deion Cook. He's a rookie coming out. He's in all their promotional material. They're hyping him up down there. So Deion Cook, they're going to come out with Deion Cook, Deion McShane, and Glenn Gibbons. Those will be their 3 receivers. And Calvin Smith from Delta State at running back, who I'm really high on. So excited for them. Give me Tulsa, though, on the money line. One thing to watch for Tulsa, too, is Tulsa's D-line. The D-line is nice. They got some pieces. They got Kevin Thurman. He was up here with us in 2024. They got I'm gonna butcher the last name. Washington State was with Vegas in camp. Excited to see what he can do. And then they got my guy coming over from Tucson. They got some good pieces, and Coach Anson down there with D-line. That's a good D-line coach to have. Vegas and Tucson, Draylen Ellis from Tennessee State will be Tucson's quarterback one going into the season. It's going to be exciting. Obviously after the ACL injury, he really can't, run like he used to be able to. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Give me Vegas minus 5.5. I think Vegas has a little more on the D line than Tucson does on the O line. So I like Vegas minus 5.5. I do think Tucson will be able to put up points. I think they'll score 35-40. So give me Vegas 52 to Tucson 40.
Krish, how much did Project Superfans picks factor into your picks this week? Because they're identical. Did you just copy his comment?
I know.
Be honest. It's okay.
I didn't see that comment. No.
I'm just kidding. It just came in as you were talking. And it's literally the same exact pick.
Nah, he knows ball, though. He knows ball like I do. So it's good. Good to see.
We'll see. TJ, how do you feel about that assessment that Krish just gave us? Which of these games do you think he might be right on and might be wrong on?
Well, first off, I'm thinking that San Diego, I'm picking them money line. I am. I think that they are one of the better teams this year, and I think that coming off of last week, they're going to carry the momentum in, and they're going to do to Arizona once again. They're going to win. Jacksonville and the Wranglers. I have to agree with Krish. I really don't see the Wranglers at home as underdogs. I wouldn't even take the points, man. I'll just take them money line as well in front of the home crowd. I think, they showed me a lot, and I think that they're a better team this year, and I think they're going to prove it here tonight. Tulsa and the Gunslingers. I gotta stick with the Oilers. I think they're gonna go into San Antonio and they're gonna win. And then obviously with the Vegas Tucson game, clearly I'm taking my team Vegas, but not as a true homer pick, but more so as, they came in as defending champs. They've had 2 weeks to have that bad taste in their mouth. I think they are going to run it up against Tucson tomorrow. I will take the minus 5.5. I'm thinking Vegas is probably going to win by like 2 or 3 scores. To be honest with you, I think they're going to come out and they're going to get all their aggression out from the game against Green Bay.
I mean, look, Laura coming back to Arizona. I mean, that's where he played at college ball, right? He played in Tucson, University of Arizona, and then on the other side, Kamori and Terry. Going against his former team in Vegas. So a lot of not bad blood per se, but a lot to prove.
Storylines in this game, as they would say. TJ, did you say Tulsa?
Yeah, Oilers over Gunslingers.
Okay. I thought you did. I just wanted to make sure.
Good job, TJ. Good job.
All right. And you picked San Diego, correct? Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I'm tracking these. Coach B, who do you have?
Unless I'm wrong, then I didn't.
Okay, gotcha.
I got San Diego, Jacksonville, Tulsa, and Vegas.
Sorry about that, fellas. I'm not sure why the picks just popped off the screen like that.
Oh, my picks is in. I got Jacksonville, Vegas, San Diego, and Tulsa winning it out this weekend.
Actually, I think our picks might be identical. Let me double check. I know I picked Vegas. I'm pretty sure I picked Arizona, though. I don't recall. Give me just a sec.
Bet not had.
Hey, shout out to my boy Off the Wall, though. He's going to be at all 30 games in Arizona. He's going to be at the Arizona, Northern Arizona, and Tucson game. He won't make it Northern Arizona on time, though. No way. Unless he leaves at halftime. So,
I was wondering how that's all going to work.
No, he's going to leave at halftime, and they're going to try to. Oh, he was there for that. No, he won't be able to be there for the full game. No way, time wise. Hey, I'll give you $100 if you stay for the full game.
Man, let's be honest. If he even makes it to all 3 games, that's a feat. Like,
that's good, 100%. Yeah,
that's dedication. Like, he's literally going down there, like, hustling his entire weekend to make sure he can cover 3 games. It's kind of cool, honestly. So shout out to him.
He was there last week in Indy, 2 weeks ago, and he took last week off, and then now he's in Tucson, Arizona.
That's crazy. So yeah, I got Arizona on the money line. I think they're going to take that game. I feel less confident about my pick now that I know Drew Powell might start. I felt a lot better about it.
Drew Powell, man. He's a multi-time. I know he's.
What's the difference?
In my opinion, Max Mailer currently is the better player.
But Drew knows the offense. He was better in that offense. And how many years? 5 years in that system, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're splitting hairs here. Let's be honest. Drew Powell's a good quarterback.
Hey, like, I love Coach Riggs. That's my guy. Peyton Riggs. He's came on the show, but I think that's still Kevin Guy's offense. So
I don't think anybody would argue that, and he's calling plays, but at the same time, it'll be interesting. Like I said, it'll be interesting. I did not foresee any scenario where Drew Powell started over Max Mailer, so that in itself is gonna really kind of confuse me. So it'll be interesting to watch tonight. But I've got Vegas. I think Tucson's going to be a much better team this year. I just don't think they're going to come out of the box hot. I got Tulsa over San Antonio. That to me, this is a pick 'em. It could very well be Tulsa. It could very well be San Antonio. Both of these teams are very, very talented. Both of them are pretty well coached. So honestly, it wouldn't surprise me either way. And I've got the Sharks over Northern Arizona, although this, again, was a tough game for me to pick. I almost picked Naz multiple times. However,
the Sharks might win it this year. I ain't gonna lie. They
might win the whole thing.
They sneaky good, man. They sneaky
How?
good.
Where? What planet do they win the whole thing?
Hey, you buddy. You sit back and mute yourself.
Bro, I'm asking you, what position group have they improved the most on? I'm asking you a question.
Man, listen, I might offend some fans here, but listen, Jacksonville, they're like the Steelers. Okay, they might get into the playoffs, but they have no place in the playoffs. Once they get there, they get stomped. All right, it is what it is.
Hey, wait a minute.
I just wanted to ruffle some feathers, man.
I will say this about Jacksonville. No, let me just say this.
They are going to get in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, and I respect Coach Gibson. Coach Gibson is one of the nicest people you'll meet in this industry. Really good guy. He's on the hot seat, though. I mean, he's 15-17 last 2 years. And if they don't win a playoff game, if they don't have a home playoff game, even if they if they don't have a home playoff game, I don't think he's going to be brought back next season. And that's going to be an interesting job for those who are interested in coaching that team. I can see a lot of candidates be Jacksonville Sharks. Why wouldn't you want to coach that? I know.
No, I was 100% agreeing. Like, dude, if you're a coach and Jacksonville comes available, you want to go there. Like, players want to play in Florida, man. Are you kidding me? Like, hey, you want to come down and hang out in Florida for a couple months, get paid, and hang out on the beach? Like,
right?
Are you kidding me?
That is ideal destination for recruiting. You know how crazy it would be for me to recruit in Jacksonville, Orlando, Miami, anywhere down there. Who wouldn't want to come there?
Coach B comments like that will make no one else believe anything else that comes out of your mouth. I don't think it's that. Jacksonville's a good team.
Jacksonville is a good team. Like TJ said, they sneaky like the Steelers. If you let them in the playoff, you never know what you might get, bro.
They might be one and done.
I said they're like the Steelers because they sneak into the playoffs, but then they prove they don't deserve to be there because then they just get annihilated by somebody. And then it's like, oh, well, that was a waste of time then.
I guess we'll see.
Hey, coach, if Because if Jacksonville is winning the whole thing, that means they're beating Vegas, right? Next week. Is that what you're saying?
Not
I got
necessarily.
no. I'm Vegas strong, baby.
So
Don't get it twisted now.
This was a pro Vegas Nighthawks podcast.
no, bro. It's
Although
like
the verdict is out in
I
Pennsylvania.
respect James Cahoon. James Cahoon is like I saw
Hey,
when he was last year in Iowa.
just know,
Y'all winning
if New Mexico had a kicker, you'll be quiet this week. So if I was you,
what does that have to do with anything?
eat crow and be quiet right now.
He won. But the point is, no, another thing is too, Jacksonville, before we move on, their quarterback battle is interesting. I've been hearing too, like Cahoon will start, but I stop sleeping on Sammy Edwards, man, from Valdosta State. He's from Florida.
That's what I'm saying. He's good. So if he get in the lineup, things change. You never know what could happen, bro.
Yeah, but I hope he does. I think he's really good. I mean, he was in camp with the Giants. Like, this kid is legit. Sammy Edwards, man, Valdosta State. Valdosta State produces ball players.
That's why I think that team's going to be pretty solid. Now he's going to tell me that Odessa is joining the IFL. Nah.
I don't think we can afford it, man. We can't afford it, man.
But why do the Florida teams both have irrationally devoted fans with bad takes? Mass Lando has Krish and Jacksonville has Inside the Walls. Luck of the draw, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. I think we've pretty much knocked out all of our IFL topics for the day.
Yeah, Coach B has a lot to say about the NAL. He's going to get emotional.
Uh-oh.
I have a lot to say about the NAL, too. I'm sorry.
All right, try and hold it back a little bit. Keep it professional, guys. But I'm just kidding. We'll go ahead and get into that next. So if you're still waiting on the NAL, stick with us. We're coming right back with that.
I don't know what we're yelling about! Loud noises!
All right.
Hey, that commercial's so cool.
Which one? The last one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is pretty funny. The guy looking like Jesus walks out with the chocolate milk and the donut. Every time I want to run to the grocery store after the show. But anyway, I'm glad you mentioned Upside because I'm going to shout out a little deal they got going on right now. As of right now, Upside has a special cashback bonus that if you sign up and spend $10 using our code, you will get an automatic cashback bonus of $17 cashback, plus the additional bonus you would already be getting for your purchase at that gas station. So it has to be a fuel purchase, but at the same time, if you spend $10, you get an automatic $17 back. You also help support us because we get a kickback as well. And then after that, I highly recommend using the app. But if you use it once and you never use it again, there's zero catches. Once you get up to a $10 berth in your account, you can withdraw the money free of charge, zero whatsoever fees, and it goes right into your account. And using the account for 6 years now, and I think I've cashed out almost $1,600 over that time. So, I mean, if you think this is an illegitimate app or there's catches or strings or I promote it because I'm getting paid, that none of that's accurate. I promote it because I believe it. I use it. It's a great app. That's the only reason. So enough of that. We talk about sponsors way too much on this show sometimes. So on that note, we'll go ahead and move over to the NAL. There's quite a bit to talk about, including the biggest topic of the day, which is, of course, Omaha 0-2. No, just kidding. It's the Scripps partnership with the league, the new broadcast partnership between the National Arena League and Scripps Sports, which was apparently, as I am told, a brand new streaming service that was just launched that will also be broadcasting other alternative sports leagues like the A7FL. So very excited about this partnership for the National Arena League. But let's kind of unpack this a little bit. I mean, what do you guys think this does for the league? And then I'm going to give you guys a second caveat question here. How do you guys feel about the fact that they now have this free broadcast partnership after spending the money to sign up for the NAL app? Go ahead, Coach B.
I'm upset because the NAL app has not worked right since I spent the money on it. I don't think they waited enough time to get it right and to roll it out. Because, Chris, we talked about this multiple times, haven't we? Games are not being like the Dallas game always cuts off. Louisiana sometimes don't stream. It may not be on them, but as a league, don't you have a streaming standard if you got these partners that team have to stream? So I'm confused on what's going on with the lead and the streaming what's going on with all that. Now that you provide a new partner and it's free, but it's a new service, like, come on, that's crazy. After people done paid and been getting screwed over on the other app.
Sorry, I was muted, but that's a fair point. You know, the NAL app has not come out without any bugs whatsoever. And yes, Coach B is a coach. We all know this. That's very well known. But at the same time, he has valid concerns that have not only been expressed by him, for the record. So this is something I've heard on a widespread basis. And I actually posed that second question about spending money on the NAL app and now being able to get the games for free, because this was actually posed to me in a direct message from somebody else, you know, that they were upset that, hey, I spent this $30 or whatever it was for signing up for the app. I still haven't gotten my discount code. And on top of that, you know, at this point, I now can watch the games live for free and I didn't have to spend that money. Well, that's where I kick back a little bit. And I do tell people, you know, that app partnership, or the app subscription, gives you access to the games afterward, so you can watch them on demand. So for a person like me, that's a very valuable purchase for me, because at the end of the day, I can't always watch the games live. I've got my kids running around. My wife's got me doing my to-do list at home. I might be working late, whatever it may be. I a lot of times have to go back and watch the games at 11 p.m., midnight my time, or whatever, so I can sit and watch the whole game. So for me, these fast channels are great. It's good for exposure for the leagues. It's great for the growth of the game. But I have to be able to get those on-demand games. And honestly, right now, it's kind of killing me with the IFL, because like I have the games on, but I can't rewatch them if I miss anything until a week later. So it's tough for me. So there are some situations like Yahoo. I think Cody mentioned it last week. They keep the games up there for 24 hours so you can rewatch those. But even then, I might not necessarily get back to watching the game within 24 hours. So that's the tough part. You know, we do this show weekly, so sometimes I'm watching games from Sunday all the way up to Friday to get 100% caught up on everything that happened before we get on the show. So I think that part of the NAL app has value still. So I will say that, and I wanted to throw that out there before I go to Krish and TJ on this one, so they kind of can address that as well, if they feel better because of that fact, or they don't because it's not as valuable for them. I kind of wanted to hear all of your guys' thoughts on that. So let's go to TJ next on this one.
Yeah, you know, me and you kind of have the same, I guess, lifestyle with having families. So we, you know, we don't always get to watch the games when they're being broadcast. So for me, I like having the option, like you said, to go back and rewatch it pretty much whenever I want to, even if I watched it live and I just want to rewatch a certain play or this or that. You know, I keep tabs on the game clock or whatever, and then I go back and I can rewatch it, reanalyze it, whatever. Because like you said, you know, life happens and you're not always able to watch the stuff when it's live. So for me, it's more of a I'm looking at it from just an overall eyes on the league standpoint, and this is great for the league. I can understand how some people, if they're, able to sit and focus and they don't really care about having to rewatch it, how they can get a little angry about the situation. But I mean, at the end of the day, would you rather have the timing be kind of bad like this, but it happened, or them never able to strike a deal that will get how many more thousands upon millions of possible viewers watching the NAL? And of course, like with anything, if one of these leagues takes off, we're at the age now where people are going to search. You're going to see a surge really throughout the entire sport because they're going to want more. And there you have it because of this app. So for me, I'm not really angry about it. And plus, the NAL network is also more of just like an epicenter and a hub, not just a straight stream only situation. So you also have that different angle too. It's not just purely streaming. You can do different things on the website. So for me, I'm just happy for the NAL and really just the sport as a whole. Because again, we're talking about how we're kind of seeing that little bit of a boom and rise in popularity again, and this is getting us right on track here as a fan base or a community here behind this sport to have it get back in and become one of the main sports that they talk about, not just a niche sport that only some of us seem to know about.
Agreed. Mike Davis chiming in. What the fuck, TJ? You don't watch the Vegas live? So disappointing. He waits for Monday. He wanted to wear his Vegas Nighthawks jersey or shirt or whatever, and unfortunately, still waiting. Sorry, Coach. Couldn't help myself. I had to say that. But good morning, Quentin. Thanks for checking in. Really appreciate you being here this morning. I hear a rumor you might be involved in something new coming up here soon. So very excited about that.
Wild Dogs, baby. Haven't announced the league. I'm really waiting. I really hope they join the NAL. That's what I hope. So.
Fair enough, Coach Davis says. No, honestly, TJ, you can speak on this, but I'm willing to bet Vegas is the one team you try to catch live every week. Oh, well, in addition to Omaha, of course.
So far, all of my favorite teams' games have been on either right at the start or long after my kids' bedtime. So I have seen all those live.
There you go. Perfect. So Krish, you haven't really gotten a chance to give us your thoughts on this. So obviously Coach B kind of alluded to it. You guys have had some discussions behind the scenes. So how do you feel about this whole situation?
Yeah, so let's back up. So NAL Network comes out. I signed up for the $10. We didn't get any access code, by the way. No problem, by the way. Not asking for anything free. I'll pay for anything. So I signed up for the $10 a month subscription. I was so excited. Like, I'm going to watch, all the games, whatever. So I'm watching the games. And, Commissioner goes on a podcast and says, we're doing a documentary, many paths, one dream. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I might watch this, I might not. And then I saw the first episode with my boy Paxton Lynch. You already know I had to tune in when I saw that. So I went to the website and it said you need a premium subscription to watch it. I was like, bro, really? So you have to pay an additional $20 a month. At this point, money's already tight. So I signed up for the $30 subscription a month, and I watched the documentary. And I can say this because I paid for it, so no one can be upset unless you're going to refund me, right? I'm not asking for a refund, but I think I paid $40 because I don't even think I got refunded for the $10 I spent, but that's fine. So I'm paying for a season pass for $30 to watch this one documentary of him, and so we go watch. I go watch it, and it looks like it wasn't high quality at all. It was like an AI documentary, it felt like, and I wish they just did an interview with him. Like, I legit wish we just did an interview. You could have skipped the documentary part. I thought it was going to be mic'd up content, like high level content, and I didn't see any of that. So I was a little disappointed.
Yep. For once, I don't think Krish said anything that was out of turn here. I think he actually put that very respectfully.
That
And
is
I think,
crazy though.
yeah,
$40. And I've had problems where every now and then the subscription will cut out and then you try to log back in, they tell you you need a premium subscription to log back in. And I'm like, what?
that I have noticed that. That happened to me one time. Did you give anybody else your login, or have you been logging in on multiple
Oh, I just
devices?
on my computer and my phone.
That might be what it is. Because I've noticed that when I do the same thing, when I watch it on my phone and then I try to jump over to my computer, it typically, or like back and forth, like it typically will say that on one of them. So that might be the issue, that you're
Yeah,
just still logged in on another device.
Yeah, you can only have one open page at a time. You can't, that way you can't watch two different games at once or something like that. You can only stream one thing off one device at a time.
Wow.
Which, if I
Which
had one thing that really should be improved, that's the thing, because like multiple games going on literally today. All 4 games are basically kicking off within an hour or two of each other. Like how are you supposed to follow along with that? I mean, but
that's
at the same
crazy.
time, I rewatch the games later oftentimes anyway, so it's a little bit different for me. But I do know some fans, they're quad box, they've got their TV, their computer, their phone, they've got like 90 different things set up to watch all the games. So
See, I'm totally opposite than you guys. I have stuff to do later in the evenings. So I try to watch the games live. So when I don't see them live, I'm not going back later that evening to rewatch the replay. So I prefer, if I'm gonna pay my money, that I get sound quality.
that's fair. No, and I don't think anybody's arguing that the quality's been 100% up to standard. I will say that, it's been 4 weeks now since the app has been really being used. So I think we're still seeing some of the growing pains. And as far as like, why do we announce the Scripps partnership now and it wasn't earlier? I think that has a lot to do with them possibly wanting to see the subscriber base that they got on NIL Network, similar to what IFL Network did, but in a more condensed time period. So,
and I want to make it clear, like, no one's attacking it, right? Like, we all want this to be successful. That's why we all paid for it, right? But when you spend bread, that's bread coming out your pocket to watch games. And so you expect a certain quality production. 100%.
True.
That's just reality.
100%.
okay. We're working hard over here. I appreciate that, Sam. Krish, when it comes to the league, we are working to make sure we are in the right league for us. Well, Quentin, when you are ready to discuss the team more, you let us know. We would love to have you on to maybe make some announcements, or tell us about where you're headed, or the overall plan for the team. Perfectly timed ding, Brian says. Just this once, Sam. I'm not sure what that was referring to, but no worries. Good morning, guys. All hail the Kings podcast. If you're a UFL fan, you should definitely check that out. Apparently, Curtis needs a co-host. My bad, buddy. This is probably not the time to be asking that. It boots you off, Coach B. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So he's saying the same thing we were saying as well. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do so. And Anthony Parker checking in. Anthony, if this is the first episode you've seen, my friend, I'm a little offended.
Hey, great to see my guy, Coach Parker, man. He was our D-line coach down here in 2024. Huge for us,
I apologize. Wrong Anthony Parker. My mistake, Coach. Sorry. I was totally thinking about somebody else.
He's coached in the IFL for years.
Gotcha. I was thinking about a acquaintance of mine named Anthony Parker, who I have known for quite a while. Who has
Coach Parker's a man. I haven't seen anyone more passionate about the game. Very few people are more passionate than him. He loves this sport. So great to see.
That's why you're on my staff.
100%. Very high, Coach.
Sorry about that, Coach Parker. I totally misconstrued who you were there. All right, so let's look at some transactions. I wanted to go back to the 22nd.
Oh my God.
That's all.
So the Dallas Bulls, man, they released all their good players and told them that they couldn't afford to pay them, from what I got from players.
I have heard similar rumors, and it does seem like there is a theme here that some of the guys going out the door are veterans, and some of the guys coming back in are more unknown players. You also
from the
might see,
semi-pro team.
I was going to say, you might see a trend where some of them say Prime University as their
Yes,
college.
that
That
How,
is
would
the
be,
Dallas.
how's
That's
that
the
even,
Dallas Prime.
yep.
yeah, but how is that even allowed? Like, how can you even call themselves a university? Like, that's
And
just,
and some of these isn't Dallas Prime a ban from a lot of arenas. So now you just putting them on a team and trying to sneak them into arenas that they're supposed to be banned from.
That I'm not aware of.
Oh yeah,
I
But
know the Longhorn, the Arlington Longhorn team that was partnered with Dallas for a little bit. They have guys who like cannot leave the state of Texas. So it's interesting.
my thing is you go through four coaches, then you bring in a semi-pro coach to coach your team and act like nobody's gonna notice. And now he's bringing all his players and replacing all actual arena players. This is getting kind of fishy. We said this from the jump. When is it going to end? Like, come on, man. This is a slap in the face to arena football for real.
yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. It's not ideal for sure. I do think that this is them trying to make it through the year and trying to do what they can to make sure that
I would
the
love to have Doc Hudson on. I would love to have Doc Hudson on. I reached out. You've reached
Good
out.
luck with that.
Yeah, like
Well, it's crazy. Where TJ at? TJ, what's your thoughts on this?
yeah, TJ, what are your thoughts on some of these moves? And for the record, I actually pulled up this transaction list to look at the Beefs transactions because they've only played 2 games and they've made a significant amount of changes. Some of them have been injury related. As you can see, Conliffe is placed on the 30-day IR. They had to make a corresponding move. But I mean, just since the 22nd, since they lost their second game, released Brian Price, released Otis Odom, brought in and released Tobias Taylor in the matter of a week. James Summers
Can
signed.
we got to
John,
say the correct term. Some of these players quit.
yeah, I would agree.
So
Some of these are culture
like
moves.
yeah, like some players quit, some players walked out. Player walked out. Then I look on the transaction, they signed him back after he quit, and you signed him back. I've been
Trade
hearing
Dudley
this one.
Giles.
Yeah, I've been hearing the locker room is ferocious. Like coach lost the locker room. Me and Chris talked about this. Like the stuff that we hearing from players and what's going on
yeah.
there
Look,
is ridiculous.
I will say this.
That's
Look,
not the standard.
of course, it's not, and it's not being mad. But I will say this, right? And this is no, and I'm gonna go on a little off top, what a little bit. You'll understand my point. This is all gonna tie back into Coach B stop. But okay, so obviously, Coach LeGrone and I, right? Like that's a personal friend, right? Same thing with CJ. Like I consider them friends. So this is really difficult for me to see. Very difficult for me to sit back and watch what's going on in Omaha. Obviously, look, they expected this season to be big for them. They not invested per se, but they put a lot of time into Demon Croft. I wish Demon Croft worked out, but I knew from the start he was not a good passer, right? He wasn't a good passer, and he doesn't really fit the good to see you, coach. He doesn't really fit the offense, what they're trying to do in Omaha. So for me, the buy-in, they have a lot of vets on the team. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it just how it is. Those veteran players do not care. They do not give a fuck who the coach is. I could be coaching. They don't care. They care about playing for the logo and playing for Ricky. Like those are the two things they care about, in my opinion. So that's why those veteran players keep coming back. They come back for Ricky and they come back for the logo. That's it. And the fan base too. So I just think what's going on in Omaha is a shame. It's disappointing, and they got to win today. And we'll talk about the game more when we go in depth. I know it's a big personal game for you, Shady. So I want to give you time to get emotional about it, but it's huge. So
Brian, the transactions are on the website now. I'm not sure why there's confusion there. I literally went to the NAL website and it's the link's right there on the front page.
And NAL been actually up to date this year
Yeah.
on their transactions. I applaud them on that. They've been moving good on the transactions.
Scripts didn't launch until 4 days ago. Yes, exactly. It was a newer streaming service. This thing's been in the work for a while. Coach, full disclosure, the commissioner told me that they were working on a streaming agreement this off season. He never elaborated on who it was, who they were talking to, any of that stuff, but he said they were working on something. And that's all he would tell me at the time. So I think, there was a lot of moving parts in that. So I don't know about that necessarily, but to each their own. Any other thoughts, feelings, anything you guys want to get to about the NAL?
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
about the beef.
we should do
About
our
the beef.
game picks, right?
About God damn it, Krish.
Okay, hold on. Let
Go,
TJ go.
Listen, people are going to be saying this guy's falling for the beef. Listen, 0-2 is not a death sentence. The season is not completely derailed. They're getting the players that they need. I do not think that the locker room has been completely lost. I think it is fractured because of all the movements and some of the players that did not fit the culture that got released by the team. That's going to happen. You have to have those growing pains when you start off rough, but it doesn't mean your season's done. You got 2 games down, 8 to go in the regular season. You got plenty of time to get this thing back on track. Even if they don't get it done tonight and they're 0-3, there's still ample time. Now, obviously, margin of error way tighter. But let's not act like they're already 0-5, 0-6 here and the season's lost. There's plenty of time to turn it around. Ricky knows that. The coaching staff knows that. And the true players that want to win also know that it's not even close to waving the white flag, man. There's plenty of time to go. I would be shocked. I'll say it right here, right now. I will be shocked if the Beef are not still in the playoffs at the end of the year.
Well, that's actually what I was going to say.
6 teams that make the playoffs, TJ. 6 out of 9.
Exactly. So that's one reason why none of us should be acting like the sky is falling in Omaha, because if 6 teams out of 9 make the playoffs, you're telling me that you think Omaha's not going to make the playoffs over Louisiana, Dallas.
If Dallas, Shreveport, and Amarillo were real competitive teams, they wouldn't have a chance in hell to make the playoffs. But we know those teams have no chance in hell to make the playoffs anyway. So Omaha automatically gonna make the playoffs no matter what. Be realistic with yourself.
Exactly. So that's my point. So
look, I went over a scenario internally, and I told Brian about this too. I reached out to him. It's crazy. It's a crazy scenario. Louisiana wins today, and they beat Dallas 3 times. They finish 4-6, right? And Omaha finishes 3-7. And that sounds so far out and so crazy. And Coach McGrone is going to hate me saying this, but that's a far possibility. But I'm just saying, like, Louisiana still has a shot at the playoffs. So,
hey, Coach Trey made a comment, and I truly agree with that. It hasn't been the same locker room since.
I mean, I don't know if you can say that. They were 10-0, and they made a championship last year, too.
Exactly. That was what I was going to say.
But anyway, but beyond this, right? We'll talk about the game and kind of how it affects everything. Amarillo made some signings. They signed 3 quarterbacks this week. They signed Jared Myers. He was with Northern Arizona in camp. He's been on the channel before. I interviewed him. He's a baseball player, turned football player in college. That's a good sign for them. And then they signed Blaine Espinoza, the brother of Mason Espinoza. So he played with Jacksonville last year. He got into a couple of games. I believe threw 3 touchdowns in one game. So, good sign for them. And then they signed Demery Croft from Omaha. So they signed 3 quarterbacks this week.
What? They signed Demery Croft?
Yeah.
You knew he was going to get picked up somewhere.
I don't know why. He's not. Haven't I been saying it from day one? He is not the quarterback that you guys think he is.
I think he is, bro. I've been telling you this since day one.
They can have him.
Y'all wanted him at first, TJ. Cut the crap. He was God's savior.
Man, I cried myself to sleep after that game.
Oh, Brian says, so you're telling me we have a chance?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
That's Brian. That's literally a live view of Brian right now. He's like, wait a minute, we can make the playoffs? That's amazing. I haven't had playoffs here in years. So on that note, I will say that I do like some of the moves that Amarillo has been making. You definitely can't sleep on them being competitive down the stretch. Do I think that Demery Croft is going to be the answer at quarterback? No, I actually am fond of Jaron Myers. I think he could do some things down there that could be good.
The coaching, Shady, the coaching down there, it is not. I went to the game against Sioux City, and they got out coached by far.
Well, hold on though. That was coach's that was Krish's suggestion. So that means that came straight down from the heavens.
Hey, it was my suggestion. I own that. Hey, I own that. That's a good point. I was saying that, and I was trying to rub it in people's face. Like, I was right. You're crazy.
Yep.
Hey, the coaching, the play calling was horrible. The no adjustments. It was just, I don't know. You can bring in as many players you want, but if you don't got the right coaching, it don't matter.
That's fair. That's fair. And honestly, to be fair, I don't think they had a bad quarterback before the Shaw injury. I think Shaw was very capable of being a solid quarterback.
I like Wesley Jones better than Shaw. Seeing him in person, Wesley actually balled better than Shaw did. Shaw was
4 interceptions in 2 quarters, coach.
I was at the game though. If you see it, Sioux City's defense was serious. They probably got one of the top defenses in the league. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our picks. I got some stuff on my mind.
Okay, I'll pull up the schedule. We could talk about our picks because I'm very curious to hear about this game. And actually, Krish, I forgot to call it out earlier. Is that a Southwest Kansas shirt on you?
100%, man. What you mean?
I didn't even notice that, Sam. I didn't notice that,
It's a storm out here, man. It's a storm in this bitch. What do you mean?
Interesting.
Oh my God, this dude.
Wasn't it like 2 weeks ago?
I had to rep.
2 weeks
you
ago.
You hate them, let you tell it.
Nah, man, not today. I had to rep the team I think is going to win, but we'll talk about that.
Ooh,
all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our picks. Obviously, as you see the games there, it looks like the first game this weekend is, of course, the Omaha versus Southwest Kansas game. And
Southwest, baby.
As TJ and I have talked off camera about quite a bit this week, his teams and my teams are going against each other currently. So I'm a Southwest Kansas fan. He's an Omaha Beef fan. Obviously, I support the Beef as well. CJ, Ricky, Brandon, Negron, we love them all over there. But at the end of the day, I want the Storm to win. He wants the Beef to win. And then on the UFL side, which, by the way, shameless shout out, if you're a UFL fan, tune in tomorrow at this time or at 8 a.m. Eastern. We have a UFL show now as well that TJ and I are on as well. And I'm an Aviators fan. And remind me of your team, TJ.
Orlando.
Thank you, Orlando. I couldn't remember who we were playing this week. So
I'm a St. Louis fan.
There you go. That which would make sense. You're in that area, correct?
Missouri, baby.
There you go. There you go. So with that being said, TJ, we're going to go to you first. Who do you have in this game?
I have the Beef because unlike some of us here who, will remain nameless, Krish tagging me left and right about being fellow Beef fans together. Yeah, that lasted long. No, but it's a must win for Omaha. Like I said before, 0-3 isn't, the end of the season, but man, 1-2 is a heck of a lot better than 0-3. So they got to win this game. It's going to be tough though, because Southwest, man, they have a tough defense, especially defensive front. So it's going to be interesting to see how the O-line plays, but I'm really hoping, Summers, man, let's go. Let's get this thing in. I hope the Beef win. I'm not even going to predict the score, man. I just want them to win.
There you go. Project Superfan, I think you probably saw my tweet. But if you're an indoor football fan and you do not have a team in the UFL, the Columbus Aviators should be your team. I could list like literally 7 or 8 different players that have played on indoor football rosters in the last five years on their team. So if you're looking for a default answer, why not the Aviators?
Don't do it. If you're a Michigan fan, go for a different team.
Pirates alum right there. Another one. Hey, Coach V, I saw your comment, man. That belt is gonna really hurt on May 18th, man. I promise you. You'll be. we trust me, man.
We'll get to my comments on Krish's support of the team in just a moment. Don't worry. Krish, who have you picked in this game?
All right, Omaha Southwest, man. Hey, look, first, man, Coach Negron, you're my guy. CJ, you're my guy. Ricky, you're my guy. I traveled 1,500 miles to see you 2 weeks ago. Coach Thomas, man, he likes to pop zins. He's about to pop some beef tonight. So, Jay Sutton, man.
What?
Hey, Jay Sutton, running back from Delaware State. He's going to get active. That Omaha D-line is so soft, I can't even put into words how soft they are. So Jay Sutton probably going to go off for 100 yards. Jelani Baker out the slot. Jelani's going to get active, man. His debut tonight. I know how special Jelani Baker is. So give me Southwest Kansas by 10 points. I think they win this game 34-24.
Wow.
They signed a new kicker, too, from Oklahoma Panhandle State. His career long is 49 yards. So I love Coach Thomas finally realizing, I can't go out and pay a kicker. So I have to actually find a good kicker. So I know what Dylan Burkhart was making. Don't try to hide it. We all do. So
I don't know what. Like, I'm so confused. Yeah,
Dylan
what was he
Burkhart,
making?
and Southwest Kansas former kicker, was one of the highest paid players on the team. So now he can't pay. So he has to actually look for one. So I'm glad he found it.
Yeah, Carlos is a good kicker. I ain't gonna lie to you. Carlos was
Yeah.
signed to the Drillers. We had him signed to the Drillers, and he went over to Southwest, so he a good kicker.
I agree. I think he's a great kicker. Very accurate. I think he only missed 3 field goals in 2 years of college at Oklahoma Panhandle. So.
Yeah, you stole him from me, Sam, but it's okay. I got something for you.
Okay, Coach B, who are you picking this week?
Southwest, baby. It's a storm brewing, and they picking up all cattle in the way.
Okay, I'm glad that I get a chance to say something here. So I'm picking Southwest Kansas, but I'm terrified that Krish is picking Southwest Kansas because he picked Omaha the last 2 weeks, and we saw how that went.
I picked Salina last week. Roll the tape. I knew they would lose.
Sorry. You're right. You're right. You picked Salina last week, but you picked Omaha week 1, and you were in the game. So maybe that's...
And all preseason, too. He picked them all preseason. He was a Beef fan all preseason. I was on this
You're not
top
going to be in
this.
Kansas today, are you?
He better
Just
not
checking.
be.
No, I'm picking Southwest. Yeah.
But are you going to be in Kansas for the game? Okay, just make sure.
Cody will be.
Cody is at the game today. That's why he's not joining us today. So he will be. He was driving to Kansas. So definitely stay tuned to his page on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of pictures later on today. So moving on to the next game that probably has a lot less controversy from this panel here. Sioux City Bandits and Pueblo Punishers. Who do you guys have?
The battle of the undefeated.
Yes, sir. Who would have thought that would happen? Definitely not Krish. TJ, who do you have in this game?
Man, I gotta. Oh, man, this some great matchups this week. I'm telling you. I gotta go with Sioux City. I mean, I wanted to go with Pueblo, but I'm gonna go with the team that's been around a little bit longer. Both teams are great. I think it's go down to the wire, but for some reason, man, just something about the Bandits' defense, man. I think they're gonna make the play when it counts in the end.
Yeah.
Krish?
I mean, look, I respect Pueblo. They proved me wrong multiple times. I admitted it. I don't know how much more they want me to admit it, but I admit it. I was wrong. I was wrong with the team, but, this is the best quarterback they faced all season. It's so far experience-wise. Game 1, they faced Passion Lynch, playing his first indoor football game. Game 2, they faced Tyler Lowenstein, right? And then game 3, they faced a semi-pro Dallas team. So this is a big test for them. Sioux City is going to win this game. So I think Sioux City will win. I think Aaron Dilworth will get in the end zone twice, but Sioux City will win. This Lorenzo Brown and lay the foundation for his revenge game next week.
Coach B?
Sioux City defense is serious, probably the best in the league to me. But overall, I think Pueblo all the way around has a better team, and they gonna win by 1 or 2 points. I think Josh, like you said, gonna have a revenge game against his former team, he got tools around him now. Gilworth gonna go off, but Sioux
Oh,
City's
line
defense,
though. No line.
yeah, I know, but Sioux City defense is stout, so that's gonna be the game changer. But I'm gonna pick Pueblo this week.
Hey, we forgot to say Jeff Luke for Pueblo is on 20-day IR. So he's out for the next 12.
Oh man, yeah, I'm still go with Pueblo. I'm going with the underdog.
You guys know who I'm picking.
Pueblo.
Of course. Homer pick for sure. But I actually do think Pueblo has a really good chance in this game. I see all the comments. I understand all the comments about the luck and that they've gotten lucky in the circumstances of the wins and all that. I understand. And that's all fair. But at the same time, what I've always been a fan of and what I always look at is you play the games that are in front of you. You don't recruit the other team. You don't bring in the players for them when they're injured. You don't worry about their coaching. You play against the opponent that you are scheduled to play. So whether it's a semi-pro Dallas team or it's a weekend Omaha team because of an injury, or it's a Colorado team playing Paxton Lynch with his first game, who, by the way, I want to point out, did not play bad in that game, threw only one interception, and actually accounted for, I believe, 4 or 5 touchdowns. So a lot of people are counting out what Pueblo's doing because of the circumstances, but they're not really thinking about the fact that you can only play the games you're scheduled to play. So it's not like they can pick and choose and be like, hey, I want to play Colorado every week because they're our best opponent. But at the end of the day, they beat them. Regardless of how it happened or why it happened or who caused it to happen, they won. They're 3-0.
They found the way to win, Sam, no matter what. And they had to do the same thing.
Exactly. And my thought process here is they're 3-0. So at this point, they're playing with house money. They can take some chances against Sioux City that they maybe not would have taken if they were a 1-2 or 0-3 in this game. That because of that, the players can play more loose. So I think in that sense, this might be one of their better games yet. We don't know.
Yeah, so. I think this should be NAL game of the week, honestly.
I mean, that's a tough pick because this week is a lot of good games, but it could very well be. I mean, Colorado, Salina, great game. Even Louisiana and Amarillo is going to be very competitive because they're like talented teams. It's not like one team is vastly more talented than the other, in my opinion. So on that note, Colorado versus Salina. TJ, who you got?
I'm going to go with Colorado. I think the Liberty are going to come in a little full of themselves after last week's domination, and I think the Spartans are going to come out with a victory.
Fair. Krish?
We're doing Colorado Salina. This is interesting. This is a big test for my boy Lynch down in Colorado. I want to pick Colorado so bad. Give me Salina. Salina by 5 points.
Ooh. Did not see that coming. Krish is
I think Colorado needs to get more active with the receivers. I want to see him push the ball down the field. Salina still had younger DBs, so that's their big advantage.
Yeah, and so in Colorado secondary is suspect right now. So I'm going with Salina. I'm going with Salina all the way. Coach O got them boys ready. They look good. And I'm gonna let TJ know it wasn't a fluke last week. They handled business like they were supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Omaha, I think that game was more about Salina having one of their better performances than it was about.
It was
Omaha.
a statement game for Coach O.
Yes.
Coming back to the league and letting them know that when I left, I was a champion. I'm coming back. I'm still the champion.
That's fair. That's fair for sure. I think I'm still going to go with Colorado on this one. Obviously, that's a little bit of a homer pick there. I do think that Salina is going to make this a really, really good game. This to me might be the game of the weekend. because I think both of these teams can score a lot of points in a hurry. I think both defenses in certain situations can be opportunistic. Although, like Coach B said, I do have some questions about that Colorado secondary. That's a big reason why they lost that game in week 1. So I personally think, Paxton Lynch, third game, I think he's going to have a lot of his jitters out of the way. I think he's going to have a really good performance. I think Salina is going to play really well, but ultimately I got Colorado in a close victory.
And can we just take a minute and appreciate how good of a game Coach O called last week for Salina? Evan Lewandowski in his first indoor, remember he played for the Albany Firebirds, that's arena. He looked like a seasoned vet out there. 11 for 15 for 3 touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns in your first start. That's all coaching, man.
Yeah, Evan did his thing. Evan did his thing.
I agree it's all coaching, but I don't want to take any credit away from Coach O because he did a great job. But I do think you have to give Albany some credit for that performance as well. He got coached up for, a while there in Albany. I think
what you did last year, though, don't matter this year.
True, but development-wise, it does.
Yeah.
They got a nice team in Salina, man. I mean, Kyle Jarvis, where did he come from?
Right.
He's crazy.
Right. Hell of a performance by him. Who else has ever seen a defensive lineman intercept 2 passes and return them for touchdowns?
In a row.
Right. In a row, back-to-back series. That was
unbelievable. If you're an outdoor team, you got to
tear up again.
It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
Come on, Coach Negron, man. We got to start using our running backs to block a little bit. Give QB more time.
If happens like that again, they got to change their name from the Omaha Beef to the Omaha Tofu. Okay.
Yeah, no more. No, your running back is used to run the ball, not to throw the ball. Okay.
Hold on. Let's back up now. They used the running backs to block. There was a lot of quarterback power.
Near the goal line, they put Tobias on a hot route and had him try to run like a shallow. Right?
They did
they need when you're backed up near the goal line, you're running back. That's the whole reason why you're a running back.
No, I agree. I'm not saying that they called the right plays in the right time. If they had, they would have won. But I'm saying they used their running backs to block. It just wasn't maybe used in the right scenarios and effectively all the time. But I'm just saying the running backs did block.
Have you heard of something called jumbo personnel? That's a big term they use.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the entire Omaha offense this week is the jumbo personnel.
Man, they're going to look like the old team from the IFL with Alaska.
I bet you Coach B just got a phone call or something. But, honestly, I fully anticipate Omaha to run the ball early and often. You bring in James Summers as your quarterback. He's a former running back on other teams. Then on top of that, you've got multiple receivers that are 6'2", 6'3 plus, 225 pounds plus. You got David Ross out there, 230-pound running back. I fully anticipate a very similar scheme to last week, except that it's probably going to be a lot more effective because James Summers is a lot more effective runner from the quarterback position than maybe Tobias Taylor was. And he's also a bigger threat to throw the ball than Taylor was. So I think that also should open up some more lanes for Omaha as well, which it's good. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. All of these are going to be interesting games. But on that note, we're on the last game of the weekend, Louisiana Rouxgaroux versus the Amarillo Warbirds. TJ, what say you, my friend?
Both teams lose. This is you know what? I'm gonna go on a flyer, man. I'm gonna say Louisiana gets a dub this week.
True. This comment's very apt. Albany wouldn't have brought him in unless he had potential and was a good player in the first place.
I like Louisiana too, man. I think Taz Wilson, he'll rebound a little bit. Amarillo secondary is awful. So
interesting.
Rashad Ridley might be able to get loose for one. But I think Orlando Doss is going to have a nice game for Amarillo. He's the best receiver on Amarillo by far. So
Well, I'll have to ask Coach B off camera for his pick. Obviously, he had to drop off real quick, but my pick personally is Amarillo. I like what they did at quarterback this week. I think that's going to make them a lot more competitive. I do think Taz Wilson made Louisiana a much, much better team, much more competitive team, but I do think they still have some ways to go there. So I think Amarillo in this particular situation has a little bit of a advantage to me because first of all they're the home team, and second of all because I like some of the moves they've made at quarterback. I mentioned it before. Jaron Myers, dual threat guy, runs the ball very well. So he's a guy that you can throw in immediately and do some things to make the play calling interesting, and maybe find some success on there on offense and move the ball without having to make your game plan overcomplicated and try and ask him to do too much out of the box, in his first week with the team. So, and might be Blaine Espinoza who starts, but similar situation, in terms of the fact that he can do some things that you can utilize to get him comfortable throughout the game. But any other subjects or thoughts or feelings you guys want to get out before we call it a day?
Just kind of just an observation and what I've been hearing too. Again, I know some people think I crap on certain teams or whatever, but I really want to see every team be successful.
Because you do.
I'm not even going to respond to that. See, that's your arrogance getting in the way of reality. So I'm just kidding. But no, look, hey, Minnesota Monsters. I have heard and seen they appear not to have shoulder pads at training camp, which might be a little bit of an issue. Hopefully they get those figured out. But no, I think, when you're paying your guys so much, but you don't have shoulder pads, that's a fundamental issue. So I hope they get that fixed.
Yeah, let's just say that's not a concern only in the AF1 currently. If you've paid close attention to some of the guys on the field for the NAL recently, shoulders look a little small. Just saying. So
all teams should be required to have shoulder pads.
100%.
Jack Lambert couldn't get mad at that. That's football, right? So it's reality of it. I mean, you gotta have it. Especially when you have veteran players on the team, man. Like you got guys coming across the country to play for your team in Duluth, Minnesota. Like provide them with something.
Like I said, I don't want to necessarily single Minnesota out, but that is something like we need to give these players the proper safety gear to make sure that they're protected in the correct manner. This is already a very violent game. You add the wall in it, it becomes that much more violent. And on top of that, the players are not being provided with the proper protective equipment. That's not cool for anybody involved. So with that being said, if they are choosing not to wear the provided equipment, that's a different story. I don't have all the information on all of that, but I have noticed some players that have very clearly not been wearing shoulder pads in games, which is a serious concern in my opinion. But TJ, any final thoughts for this weekend? You were able to stay for a whole show.
Yes, the kiddo is sleeping over at the grandparents.
There you go. Nice.
No, man, just, hey, a lot of good games, both indoor and outdoor. If you're a football fanatic like we are on the show, it's a great day.
Agreed. Whether it's the UFL or it's the IFL, the NAL, there's a ton of games kicking off this weekend. The AAL2 is also kicking off their games this weekend, so make sure you pay attention to that as well. There should definitely be a lot more coming out about from the AAL and AAL2 social medias.
It was International Arena League canceled their game today, a preseason game. So they were supposed to play a preseason game in Europe. It was canceled. They said because of rain, right? So rain affects it. Now it rains indoors apparently. So off to a bad start already. But
I bet rain is going to affect a lot of their season this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. You might say when it rains, it pours. Foreshadowing for the rest of the year for sure. Because,
but no, I just want to say one thing, man. Really good show today. I appreciate I appreciate all our guests, coming on. Jaden Rowe from Indy and I got from Washington. That was fun. And then just shout out to all my guys playing in UFL today. your hard work and dedication got you to this higher level. So, go put on, man. Put on for your team. Put on for the name on the back, and represent the Pirates brand at the highest level on national television. So that's a big deal.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There's only one UFL game tomorrow, right? That's it. No indoor games tomorrow. If I remember.
No. We have two: Vegas and Tucson. Sunday. I think they're going to be very excited when you find out who's on the call for that game. But and then we have who else? Oh, San Antonio, Tulsa at 4:00.
Okay, there we go. So my mistake. There's 3 games on Sunday. With that being said, definitely make sure you're checking out the UFL as well. We need to support all of these leagues if we want to continue to have spring football, summer football. So, whether it's just watching from home, buying the gear, whatever it may be, taking your kids out to a game, let's do what we can to support these leagues and these teams because they're giving young men the opportunity to chase their dreams still to this day. So
It's really exciting at Vegas, Tucson, gonna watch my guy Coach D and Coach Fuller go at it. So it's gonna be fun.
Should definitely be an entertaining game for sure. But on that note, we're gonna go ahead and call an episode. Thank you everybody who tuned in. You've been with us for 3.5 hours, and we've had a solid number viewers wise all day long. The one thing I'm gonna ask you before you get out of here is sign up for our giveaway. I did not mention this throughout the episode today. We're pushing this still though. If you would like to win a piece of history, a piece of the turf that the Sioux Falls Storms played on, you can do so for free with multiple different ways. So you can follow Indoor and Arena Football History on TikTok and or Facebook at Arena and Indoor Football History and News and find the contest keyword. Join our mailing list at shadysportsnetwork.com and comment the contest keyword live during Around the Indoor Football World. There is one other way to enter, and it is much simpler, and it will cost you a little bit of money, however, and that is donate to Sammy Strong Foundation, which supports families that are dealing with pediatric brain cancer. If you can't support families dealing with that, I don't know what you can support. So I've dropped that link in the chat. If you donate to their program at all, take a picture or a screenshot of the thank you screen at the end. It's very distinct. It will say thank you for donating to Sammy Strong Foundation. I believe it's yellow if I remember correctly. Make sure you get a screenshot of that. DM us on any social media platform and make sure you get that to us and you're automatically entered. You need not do anything else past that point because if you're supporting that cause, in my mind, you deserve an opportunity to be in our drawing. So with that being said, we are out of here. We'll catch you guys next Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, hopefully with plenty to talk about after this weekend's games.
Yo, what's good? Cedric the bus driver here. I don't know about you guys, but I know what I will be doing every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Thursday nights too. I'll be over at Shady Sports Network, so catch up with me. Holla at your boy.